I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 58 of Tales from Godric's Hollow, the number one podcast you should be listening to instead of going on first dates with schmucks that don't like Harry Potter. I am one of your hosts. I am the muggle of the show. I am Josh Brown. I am joined, as always, by one of the best professors I know, Matt Sonnenberg. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Josh.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
That's fantastic, Matt.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. It's a night tonight. You know that?
It is a night.
Yeah. This is episode 58. This is chapter 16 and 17 of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Yep.
We're gonna have some fun tonight. I promise you that. I do need to report on something though.
Okay.
First and foremost, this isn't Harry Potter news because I'm pretty sure nothing happened regarding Harry Potter. However, last week we put out our Butterbeer Banter episode, which was celebrating our 1-year anniversary of this podcast, as well as Harry Potter's birthday. That coincided with our regular episode 57. It was a great time last week. We had a whole night of recording, a lot of fun. There was a cake involved.
Yeah.
Everybody got to see the cake. Nobody out there listening got to taste the cake. Except Val. Val got to taste it. But what I'm saying is, nobody else out there that I was showing the cake off to got to enjoy it the same way I did. Now,
very true.
I made 2 different cakes for those that may have forgotten. The pink Happy Birthday Harry cake was a chocolate cake with a strawberry buttercream, which after doing some digging around on very, very, very precise Google searches to avoid any potential Harry Potter spoilers, the overall consensus seemed to be that Hagrid would have made Harry a chocolate cake with strawberry frosting.
Fair enough.
So that's what I did. The second cake, however, was a butterbeer flavored cake.
Yes.
Now, everybody's been wondering how these cakes tasted. I will say, the chocolate cake with the strawberry buttercream, fantastic. Excellent.
That's good. That's good.
The butterbeer cake. Boy, oh boy, Matt. I hit a home run with that thing. That was superb. It was so good. It was so good.
Did you use like the same kind of recipe we did for the butterbeer, or
I mean,
did you have something to base it off of?
No, it was completely from scratch. It was me envisioning how those flavors could come together in cake form. Now it's cake with buttercream frosting. Putting those 2 together, I had to come up with how that flavor combination would resemble taking a big old swig of butterbeer. Now,
sure,
it was delicious. There was one problem with the whole thing.
What's that?
There was way too much cake, Matt. There was way too much cake. It was me and Val. My daughter was over when I actually cut into it. She was the first to taste test. She enjoyed both, but she definitely preferred the butterbeer cake over the other one.
Okay.
Val took a bite of each. She agrees butterbeer cake was the star of the show. Unfortunately, we had a massive heat wave last week. We're still going through it. It was up to like 109 degrees last week.
Yikes.
Cake dries out super quick in those conditions. It was too big to cover it with anything, which usually leaving it out on the counter for a day or two works out in some way, shape, or form. I I do have covers, but again, this was double layer giant cake.
Exactly. It's not your average cake.
So the next day after cutting into it, it was rock hard. It was toast. And I mean, I probably could have carved it up and got rid of the harder outer layers that were preventing more delicious cake from entering my mouth. But Matt, at 109 degrees, you really don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
So I just shut it down. We ended up unfortunately, just getting rid of it. I hate saying that. It's such a waste of food. I should have planned better, but, there was not enough people in our house at the time to fully enjoy the spoils of my labor.
Sure.
But it was good.
Well,
and if anybody wants a butterbeer cake, I will gladly make it for them if, they are close enough for me to deliver. Because shipping cakes is doable, but tough.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, I felt like I had a report on that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad it turned out.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it just sucks that you didn't get to enjoy more of it.
Yeah, yeah. And
now going forward, though, when you make big cakes, you got to have a plan.
Sure. But I felt like if I went small with this one, like Val was encouraging me to, it wouldn't have had the same impact on the community as this bigger one. So it's kind of like, do I show off and make a big one, or do I go humble and simple and just make a little small one just for the sake of eating it? And
here's a cupcake, Harry.
Yeah. That's not me, Matt. That's not me. Although I did read in the filming of that movie, to make Hagrid look the proportions that a half giant is.
Yep.
They actually made a small miniature version of that cake so that he could hold it and it would look exactly like the normal size cake, but like in proportion to his hand would make him look like the half giant that he is.
Yep.
The miracles of movies, man. I tell you. I wouldn't have even thought of something like that.
Oh, yeah. They do some crazy stuff.
I feel tricked, Matt. I feel deceived. Wizards. Movie wizards. Anyway, cake was delicious. It was a home run, but I'm sorry everybody didn't get a chance to enjoy it in the same way that I did. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Before we start tonight's show, Matt, I think we both have someone to thank.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have two people to thank.
Oh, you have two people to thank, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. We're just gonna have the thank you segment at the beginning of the show going forward.
Unfortunately, the first one,
Mm-hmm.
I can't thank anyone in particular.
Oh.
Because they did not sign their name to it.
Huh.
So I cannot guarantee I know who it's from. There's a good guess. I have a good guess, educated guess. But
is it the same educated guess that I have?
I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So on our Butterbeer Banter episode, everybody saw us drinking butterbeer, and you had your nice Hufflepuff glass over there, and I had my Milwaukee Brewing Company glass. Which, I mean, I love Milwaukee Brewing Company.
Sure.
Good place. Make good beer, but...
It also held your beverage wonderfully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when one of the few times I was on camera and did not have my Harry Potter themed glassware.
Right. I had more Harry Potter merchandise than you did.
Exactly.
Which is
in
bizarre.
that respect, yeah. And... well, the fans thought that needed to change, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I offered to send you my Ravenclaw glass that I'm never going to unbox.
Yes. But so the first mystery present I received was a fantastic, I guess they call it laser engraving glass that says, "I solemnly swear I am up to no good," on the side of it, with the little footsteps that you see like all over the Marauders map.
Mm-hmm.
It has a wand on the back side of it, And then what I didn't take a picture of, or didn't post a picture of at least, is down at the bottom of the glass. So like when you're drinking it, you can read it. Down at the bottom of the glass, it says "Mischief Managed."
Oh, nice. Nice touch.
It is fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. Also, if you're drinking butterbeer out of that glass, you are definitely up to no good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that one, and then a couple days later,
person.
Yes, thank you indeed. I got another package from a fan we both know, Brent. He runs the Pewtercast. We were actually on his show a few months ago. That was like last year sometime.
Last year.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. It was football season when we talked to him.
It was indeed.
Yeah.
So he sent me, I believe it's the same set you have. I can't be 100% sure. Did it look similar?
Yep,
okay.
100%.
Okay, so yeah, I now have the same set of house glasses that you have.
Right.
So I can pull out that Ravenclaw glass and put it to good use.
Someone has to.
You know I will.
I mean, I'm sure the Slytherin cup will get used equally as much, but hey, who am I to judge?
Well, in any case, thank you, Brent. It was very much appreciated. Because it's one of those things like I never really thought about too much. It's like, yeah, that would come in handy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Weird question.
Yeah.
Which house does Becca belong to?
I believe she's Ravenclaw as well.
I find that strange that you don't know that with certainty.
Yeah.
I did not mean to call you out on that one.
I'll have to clarify that.
Okay, that's probably for your own good, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what kind of squabble there's going to be over these house glasses when you guys are using them. And there might be one. I mean, if you want to send me your Hufflepuff one, I could gladly send you my Ravenclaw one. We could do a straight up house swap with this.
House swap, I like it. Yes.
If you need a second Ravenclaw glass, I mean, you don't even sound certain that you do, so.
Yeah, I mean, I know we are very similar in a lot of ways, so it would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think if she's.
I feel like this is something
told
you guys
me that she's taking the quiz.
Talked about at some
exactly.
Point. Huh. Okay. Well.
Yeah, I'll definitely work on finding out.
You can report back next show, Matt.
Okay.
I also need to thank our friend Brent.
Yeah.
I came home today to a package sitting on my doorstep. I opened it up. And I'd already seen that you had thanked him on Twitter for the glasses. And I was like, wow, Brent knows that I have those glasses. And if this package is from Brent, I would hope that he didn't send me the same glasses. Like, I would hope that he knows that those are the same ones. Which I was pretty confident that he would pick up on that.
Yeah. Because he obviously listened to the episode where we talked about it.
Right. So I opened it up, and inside, Matt, and I haven't told you this, I haven't tweeted it out, like, this is, like, breaking news here. I mean, unfortunately, you guys are going to be listening to this Wednesday. I'll probably tweet about it beforehand, so, like, it's not really breaking news, but let's just pretend, okay? Inside, there were 3 different packages, okay?
Okay.
The first 2 are Harry Potter nano metal figs.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of these?
I may have run across them, actually.
Okay. They are little...
in my quest for looking for giveaway prizes.
Sure. They are 100% die-cast metal.
Okay.
Very similar to, like, the little pieces that you would use in a board game, per se.
Okay.
Or D&D, maybe, you know?
Yeah, these might be different then.
Yeah, they're die-cast. They're about 2.5 inches each.
Okay.
Each package has 5 characters in it. Okay?
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, these are substantial. Like, they are heavy. Like, you could tell they are die-cast metal, you know? Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
First package has Harry Potter,
Okay.
Ron Weasley,
Okay.
Hermione Granger,
Sure.
Arthur Weasley, and
Nice.
Percy Weasley.
Interesting.
Very weird, right?
Yeah, that's a weird grouping.
Yeah. Now, that was the first one I saw, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. But I at least know and familiar with all these characters, right?
Yeah.
Enter package number 2. Harry Potter. He's a little bit more grown up now, and he has a cool leather jacket on, so that's pretty cool.
Okay, so it is a different Harry Potter.
Yes, it's not robed and Hogwarts uniform Harry Potter. This is Harry Potter, street clothes, leather jacket Harry Potter.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
Albus Dumbledore.
Sure.
Professor McGonagall. Draco Malfoy.
Okay.
And Marcus Flint.
Wow. So were these like blind bags or like prepackaged?
Prepackaged.
That's wow. Who put these packs together?
I do not know. It's a 5-pack figure collector set. I mean, the box clearly
Yeah.
labels them. It's not,
Yep.
random or anything like that. Yeah. There's pack A and pack B.
Interesting.
So, who's Marcus Flint? That's my question.
Marcus Flint is the captain of the Slytherin Quidditch team.
That would explain why he's holding a broom.
Yep.
Have we met him in the reading?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Just about any time we meet the Slytherin Quidditch team, we talk about Marcus Flint.
Sure. I feel like Draco's the only one on that team sometimes, but
Well, in the first year, he definitely wasn't.
right. I guess so.
Marcus Flint was there though.
So what year is Marcus Flint? Is he 7th year now?
He's
Is he even at Hogwarts anymore?
I was gonna say he might be gone by now.
Okay,
He's probably gone.
So
because I want to say he was in Wood's class, so he would be gone.
Okay. So that makes that inclusion even more strange, is what you're saying.
I mean, it depends when these were put out. I mean,
Okay, that's fair.
if these were put out alongside the, well, no, okay. You said it includes Harry in a leather jacket.
I mean, I assume it's leather. It's brown. I mean, it could be pleather.
But yeah, like in a more Muggle-looking jacket.
Yeah, I would say,
as opposed to wizarding robes.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, that does make it weird.
Right.
And
so like in the other
rhyme or
set,
reason to that.
We have like the kids in their robes, and we have Arthur in his, standard clothing attire, and like Percy is dressed to the nines in a suit and tie.
Sure.
So it's like that's the point, I'm assuming, when Percy is working for the Ministry. So I don't know the time frame of any of these things, and the fact that there's two Quidditch or two Slytherin Quidditch players mixed in with Dumbledore and McGonagall, like I don't know the rhyme or reason behind any of this.
To be perfectly honest, I can't come up with any rhyme or reason as to why they're grouped like that. That's quite odd.
And I know Brent well enough to know that he wouldn't have sent me something that would spoil anything. But I was just like staring at him like, what's the connection? I don't understand any of this. So the fact that you're baffled by it makes me feel better. I could stop thinking about it and worrying about it.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about anything being spoiled. That is just a very odd group.
Yeah. I will take pictures and I will share them with people.
That'd be great.
The third thing that was in this box, Matt, might be one of my new favorite things.
Okay.
This is actually something that we have given away recently.
Really?
That I was not privy to, that I was not allowed to know about, I was not allowed to see.
Oh.
Until I met her. And that is,
of course, favorite Ravenclaw.
the Luna Lovegood Rock Candy vinyl collectible.
Yeah.
She is adorable. Absolutely adorable.
A fantastic figure.
Right. She has some funky glasses on. She's holding a Quibbler and holding it right side up, which concerns me. Her skirt is phenomenal. Like all of her clothes, like she's amazing. She's so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I can't wait to unbox her and set her next to Hagrid on my desk, which is now just overwhelmed with Harry Potter stuff.
As it should be.
Yeah. So thank you, Brent. That was a very nice surprise to come home to today. Very unexpected and very much appreciated. So
yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Got that out of the way.
Did.
Let's give something away ourselves, Matt.
Okay.
Last week we offered up a very phenomenal adult coloring book, Harry Potter themed coloring book. Now I say adult only because it has very, very intricate little details.
Yes.
Little lines to keep your coloring instrument in, which is tough. It's tough to stay in the lines. I know it. Adults should be able to manage this quite well, but not all adults. Some kids are way better at coloring than adults.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, it's a cool Harry Potter coloring book. What was the actual name of the book?
It was the Magical Creatures and Places, I think.
Okay, that's right. I have seen it in stores. I am not allowed to look at it, although I really want to. So we're going to give that away. Last week I asked people to email in to you, talesfromgodric's@gmail.com. I wanted to know what the people out there would do with their weekend at Hogwarts.
Yes.
Simple as that. Did we get responses, Matt?
We did. This week it looks like I need a number between 1 and 10.
1 and 10, you say. 1 and 10. Let's see here. What number? Hold on. Okay, I'm going to do some crack research here real quick. In honor of our friend Brent sending us these gifts to us and us giving away something in return. Brent lives down in Tampa Bay area.
Somewhere down there, yeah.
He is a avid fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team for the NFL, for the international listening audience out there. I mean, he does a podcast about him, for crying out loud.
He does indeed.
Right?
Yep.
Matt, who is the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I believe it should still be Jameis Winston.
It should be, as far as we know,
Unless Brent has some insider info. Right?
I have not heard anything contrary to that. So, with that being said, Jameis Winston's number on his uniform is number 3. So let's go with number 3 tonight, Matt. That was a journey, I know, but I feel like the payoff will be worth it.
All right.
Number 3.
Number 3. We'll go to Sadie.
Congratulations, Sadie.
There you go. Sadie has a brand new coloring book.
That's fantastic. First of all, Sadie needs to let us know what she will be using to color with, whether it be pen, colored pencil, crayon, if she's just going to be rebellious and mix them all, do whatever. We also need to see some finished work from Sadie. No rush. Take your time, Sadie. But when you get something done, send it along. Let us see it. Big question, though, Matt.
Yes.
What would Sadie do with her weekend at Hogwarts?
Say, if I were a student at Hogwarts and had a weekend with nice weather, I think I would hang out by the lake. Maybe go see if Hagrid had any new cool magical creatures or shenanigans happening. And then just hang out in the common room with friends.
Did Sadie include what would happen if there was not good weather?
No.
Oof. Because that's the real question.
Yeah.
There's 1,000 things to do with that school with good weather. With
It's
poor
true.
weather, man, you're just hanging out in the common room, probably. Anyway, thank you to Sadie. Congratulations to Sadie. Thank you to everybody that responded and joined in on that giveaway. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
As always, we do have something else at the end of the show planned. It's so top secret, I don't even know what it is.
Very true.
Matt
We're
has kept
keeping this one a secret for a while.
You have played it close to the vest. So I will find out along with everybody else what we're giving away next week at the end of this show. One quick news announcement, Matt.
Yep.
That we figured we should probably give to the people now instead of waiting until the end of the show when we bombard them with everything. The schedule's going to be a little wonky in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the Muggle's fault. I will take full blame for this. Turns out August is going to be extremely crazy for me, Matt. We have family from both Val's side and my side coming up, which they haven't been in years. I have a wedding. We also had to try to work in a family camping trip with the 6 kids and us, which we had to work around other parents' schedules, which gets difficult. Also had to work around my coworker taking several weekends off this month, which means that I was unable to take certain weekends off because one of the two of us have to be working at all times, pretty much.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, Matt, is August is going to be a blur, and unfortunately, this camping trip is going to change the recording for one of our episodes just a little bit. So you want to lay it out to the people as to what's going on, when to expect certain things, and what they need to do to prepare for this unsettling of the norm.
Sure. So basically, the next two episodes, episode 59 and episode 60, they're going to be released at the exact same time.
Right.
Nothing to worry about there.
Right.
What the big change we need is we need all of your emails and such ahead of time
For episode 60.
for episode 60.
Right.
So episode 59, everything can be in next Monday as planned.
Yeah.
Episode 60, we need in by next Monday as well.
Right.
But I still want them in separate emails because we'll be recording 2 separate shows yet.
Sure.
We're just going to be recording a little bit earlier than usual, so I need all that stuff in early if you want to write. Right. If we don't have emails, we don't have emails. But if you want to write in for episode 60, you got to have it in basically a week early.
Matt, this is pretty much my gift to the listening audience.
Yeah?
Everybody is clamoring to read ahead.
It's
all
true.
they ever want to do is read ahead and go faster, right? This
Yes.
is my gift to everybody. Go ahead. Read the next 4 chapters all at once. Have a go at it. There you go. You're welcome, folks. Now, okay, so the giveaway for episode 60 is going to be crazy because we won't be announcing it until the Wednesday episode. Like, there's going to be a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
So episode 59, when it's released, I know this is like way ahead. Like, people are like pulling over and pulling out their calendars.
So, yeah, this is going to sound way more confusing than it actually is.
Sure.
Once again, all of this will be up on the show notes. You can go to talesfromgodric's.com/058, and I'll have all of it spelled out for you there if you have any questions about it.
Right.
But go ahead.
Ultimately, what this is going to mean, though, episode 59, so next week's episode, I highly encourage everybody to listen, to download immediately upon publishing, so that you can participate as quickly as possible in a giveaway.
There you go.
There. But talesfromguardicollo.com, all the information you need.
It'll all be there.
But, best news is, again, you guys get to read ahead without worry, and also the release date of all future episodes, at least the next two, and the foreseeable future are not affected any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
There. So, don't get mad at the Muggle here, folks. Understand.
Don't let the Muggle get you down.
I've heard that before. I actually have that on a magnet on my fridge.
Do you?
Have I told you that?
I don't think so.
I don't know what that means. Remember that box of stuff that Val got me for Christmas from places on Etsy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was thrown into one of those things.
Okay.
Someone
Yeah,
just included a magnet.
I was gonna say I don't think I remember seeing that in the pictures or anything even.
No, it was like a calendar magnet,
Okay.
Yeah. So had the calendar for 2017 on the other side. It said, "Don't let the Muggle get you down." Just kind of like a bonus, here, thank you for buying my stuff. Enjoy this free magnet calendar.
Fair enough.
So I look at that thing every day.
Awesome.
I just assume it means I'm probably ruining people's days on a regular basis because I'm a Muggle. But slowly I'm transforming. So hopefully.
All right.
I think that's all the housekeeping we have.
I think so.
Okay, good, because it's time to talk about chapter 16 and 17 of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Let's do it.
Forewarning, Matt,
Yes.
before you get into it. I feel like I do this every week now, but I have to. I was not super impressed with these chapters.
Okay.
Okay. I found myself bored. I was engaged enough to still take notes and to pay attention to what was going on. I feel pretty confident in that. I'm just not emotionally invested in the story right now.
Huh. Because honestly, I very much enjoy chapter 16 at least.
Okay, I didn't dislike the chapter, right?
Yeah.
I just, again, we keep going back to how intense this book started, and
Sure.
how action-packed it was, and how full of new and wonderful and crazy things it was.
Yep.
And now we're getting into the middle of the book, and I was thinking about this today, getting ready to record the show. I know what my problem is. I know why why the last several weeks of reading hasn't hit with me at all.
What's that?
Every other book, there's an end game to look forward to, right? What's
Okay.
the Sorcerer's Stone? What's
Uh-huh.
the Chamber of Secrets?
Sure.
What's going to be the end result with Sirius Black? We found out quickly what the Goblet of Fire was, but then it was this Triwizard
about the
tournament,
yeah.
and what the buildup is going to be, and what are going to be the events, and who's going to win, and how's that all going to play out. This book, The Order of the Phoenix, I don't know what I'm looking forward to. I don't know what I'm anticipating finding out. It just feels like a normal year at Hogwarts. Granted, everything's kind of on high alert. Voldy's back, and there's this impending doom on the school, or there's all these pieces moving around, but I don't see the finish line at all. I don't know what we're working towards.
Yeah, obviously this could change as you get through the book, but
Yeah.
I mean, you knew coming in that this book was kind of very polarizing already. People either loved it or hate it. It's
but I feel like that's the
when
same...
their favorite or what their least favorite.
But I heard the same thing for Prisoner of Azkaban, and I heard the same thing for Goblet of Fire. You ask a different person, and they have a different opinion on the books and the movies.
And I'm just saying, maybe this is gonna be that one book that you don't care for so much. Maybe it will be one of your least favorite.
It might be, but by the end, I don't know. But
exactly. Like you said, we
as
have
I'm
plenty of book
slowly
left.
going through it, though, it's just I don't know what. Like, it's just like, okay, well, they're back playing Quidditch. Well, maybe they're playing Quidditch. I don't even know if that's a sure thing anymore. Like, they're taking classes. We're learning about the professors a little bit. We have these horrible people. We have these new people. We have, the kids, doing sneaky things, trying to teach them stuff. Like, there's all these things going on. I'm not saying it's not interesting. There's just not like that. I don't know what we're working towards. And
Sure.
that is keeping me from thinking ahead towards things.
Yeah. Like we have the title of the book, Order of the Phoenix. We
Yeah.
know what the Order of the Phoenix is already.
Right.
We basically know what they're doing. It's just now do something.
Yeah.
So
it's like-
you're still waiting for that. It's like, okay, Voldemort's a bad guy, and we have the Order of the Phoenix. They're, I guess, the good guys. What next?
Sure. And we have the Ministry, So I just, I don't.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So I'm kind of bored. Like, I'm not like eagerly anticipating, like, ooh, when am I going to find out this? When am I going to find out this? Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to find out or not find out. And
Sure.
I'm slightly concerned at this point that this truly is the shift in the story that I kind of thought would happen, where now we're playing the long game for the next several books. Like books 5, 6 all work towards like the final book 7 and everything that goes on in there. Whereas like the first 4 books were very independent. We're learning more about this world. We're gaining momentum. But I'm slightly concerned that 5 and 6 are just going to be the push towards 7.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and they could all have like their individual stories. But that's where I'm at right now. So
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I could help you lean one way or the other, but I don't want to put too many ideas in your head right now.
Yeah.
So
I guess going from week to week, I'm not excited about what's to come in the book, because it's just, man, we got a long way to go, and like this is just, we're starting to put, individual bricks into place right now.
Sure.
So that's what I want to say. And these 2 chapters, I think, made me finally realize why I'm kind of struggling the last few weeks. I've enjoyed several different things about each chapter. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't like it. It's just overall, it feels like every week people are emailing like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think is going to happen here? And it's like, man, I haven't even thought about that, because my brain isn't being triggered in those ways like it used to be.
Okay.
And maybe I hope that changes. Maybe this is just the slog of being the middle of the story.
Well, we'll see what we can do for you.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure it's probably going to take like a random stupid death or something like that. It's going to snap me out of this funk, and that's like what I'm like most afraid of at this point. But it's just, I don't know where we're at or where we're going, other than like the final, boss fight with Voldy, which I'm sure is coming, in some shape or form. So, but that's like book 7. So that's where I'm at, people. That's where I'm at.
All right. Good to know.
Chapter 16.
Chapter 16, In the Hog's Head.
I was confused by this.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe I had to keep on looking up names to find out which ones of these we've actually met already, and I think if I got it right, we only have 2 new characters.
Only 2? It felt like a handful, at least.
I'm pretty sure we only have 2.
All right.
Michael Corner.
Okay.
He's a Ravenclaw, and Zachariah Smith.
Okay.
The Hufflepuff.
Sure. It felt like there's a ton more, but
I know. Some of them you probably haven't heard in a while, but I did my best. I'm pretty sure we've met them before.
All All right. When we get to that point, I have some things to say about that whole
Fair enough.
Group of kids, but okay, chapter 16 in the Hogshead. Victor Crumb got a mention.
He did.
I had completely forgotten that he was in the story.
Well, it's because he hasn't really been in this story. He's gotten mentions of like Hermione keeping in touch with him, basically.
Right. No, I meant the story in general. Like,
yeah,
I forgot he was part of Harry Potter universe.
Oh, okay.
Until I heard his name, like, oh yeah, that guy. Like,
yeah, he's kind of a big part of the last book.
He was, but that's how, like, without hearing his name really, or like him being around, like ancillary mentions of him are not enough to keep me thinking, oh, I wonder what Victor Crumb's up to these days.
Oh yeah.
So it took me by surprise when his name was mentioned, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. Of course, she's still keeping tabs of him.
Honestly, we're getting to that point in books too where we have just so many characters now that you can't really keep track of them all.
No.
And what all of them are up to. We're following Harry in particular.
Right.
But ultimately, you could say we're following the trio for the most part.
Right. But
outside of that, yeah, everybody's not main character. So
right.
It's like, which stories do you tell?
Right.
And it's definitely going to be the stories of people who are around Harry, like the people at Hogwarts, not the people over in Bulgaria.
Yeah. But this was like one of those moments where it reminded me that we are just getting the story from Harry's perspective. Because, like, Hermione has, like, this whole side thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, that
Hermione, you could definitely write a series about.
Yeah. But, like, in my head, like, I feel like I should know everything about Ron and Hermione and Harry. But, like, when you step back, it's like, no, I only know everything about Harry.
Yes.
I know a lot about what Ron and Hermione are up to, but, I mean, we saw from the third book, which, the Time Turner.
Third book.
Like, we didn't know anything about what Hermione was doing.
Yep. We only knew so much from the first two because they were together the entire time. The trio was always together.
Yeah.
But then when Hermione started taking different classes, she spent time away from them, and who knew what she was up to?
Right. Which, again, I forget that until we're reminded in this kind of way. Which I need. I need that slap in the face sometimes. But
well, there you go. Consider yourself slapped.
So they're talking about Sirius and how lonely and sad he is.
Yep.
Which totally get. You know, it's tough being Snuffles. It really is. Snuffles and Creature are not the dynamic duo that you would hope that they would be.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah. They're really playing like this pity party up for Sirius, and I appreciate his appearance later on in the reading, but it's just I hope they're going somewhere with this of like Sirius being sad and lonely. Like, I feel like his character is really important to the story, and I'm just kind of getting, I don't want to say annoyed. That seems like too strong of a word, but it's just like, yeah, we get it. Snuffles is bored and lonely. We understand this at this point. Like, why do you need to keep hitting us over the head with how miserable he is? We get it. You know, there's more things going on than, and I know it's because Harry is extremely worried about him, and like that's like the main person he thinks of when something happens to go to, and he doesn't have that support system anymore like he did. Like, I understand why it's being brought up so much. It's just it's too much, you know. I get it. Sirius is sad.
Yeah.
Filch was sniffing Harry Potter.
And you see, well, this happens almost every time I read it. Like, I like it says like from Harry's perspective, like Filch, you know, took like an extra deep breath or something, and like so like I just almost take it as like, okay, Filch was breathing funny and Harry thought he was sniffing him.
Yeah.
But then he goes over by Ron and he's like, why was he smelling you? So, like, this is obviously a very visual thing that he was doing.
Right.
In sniffing Harry. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird now.
Yeah. When I read it, I totally read it as he was sniffing him.
Yeah.
Like, before Ron even pointed it out. No, I assumed that he was probably sniffing for those dung bombs that he thought Harry was buying.
Yep.
Because I imagine they would be quite potent. Still weird, like, why is that what he's latching onto?
Honestly, I think ever since the first year Harry Potter has been there, Filch has kind of wanted to nail him for something.
But why? How does that make anything better?
I'm not saying it makes it better. I'm just giving Filch a little motivation here.
I guess. I mean, I feel like I would want to be on Harry Potter's good side, especially as like a squib. Like I can understand, like, he's probably miserable. He wants to be magical. He wants to be doing all these cool things that he sees these dumb kids doing without thinking twice about it. Yeah. So he's jealous. Like, he has all these feelings and emotions, but, like, I feel like he could be taking better advantage of his time at Hogwarts than just being miserable and grouchy and wanting to bust everybody,
Probably, but I think it's the whole misery loves company. So if he can't have magic, he doesn't want other people to have magic. So if he can get people expelled and get their wands snapped, well, then there you go. More people without magic.
But maybe just, like, move out to the woods, live by yourself, you and your cat, like, then you never have to encounter anybody with magic.
Needs to make a living somehow.
I guess. I don't... This is one of those questionable Dumbledore hires. That's like, really? You can't find anybody else that could do as good a job, if not better, than what Filch is doing at Hogwarts? Really, Dumbledore? There's nobody out there in the job pool that could pull their weight around this school.
Yeah. I mean, once again, Filch is pretty good at his job, especially with Mrs. Norris.
Sure. But you would just think, like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like he keeps the kids in line. It just feels like they have to get more sneaky and more creative in the ways that they go about getting into trouble. Hence, the Marauders map.
Yeah, you see, once again, we see this from Harry's perspective. Like, I guess I imagine it that Filch does manage to keep everybody else in line. You don't see other people sneaking around the halls at night. Just Harry.
Well, I don't think that's true. I think there's all kinds of activity in the halls of Hogwarts.
It's possible.
Yeah. Harry Potter's not the only troublemaker there. I guarantee that.
All right.
Anyway, Filch. What a strange dude. Let's go into the dive bar of Hogsmeade.
All right, let's do it.
The lowest of lows, where all the questionable characters not only hang out, but are probably, like, welcomed with open arms. This is a really seedy place, Matt.
Yeah. I mean, as we find out later, some of them have actually been banned. But
which
doesn't
seems
necessarily
really hard to do.
Yeah, makes you wonder. But yeah, I mean, the place is described as dodgy. It smells like goats. It's dirty beyond belief. Like, he thought the floor was made of dirt, but then he realized, oh no, it's actually a stone floor with dirt caked on it from years and years of, well, not cleaning.
Wasn't the sign, like, bloody or something like that? Like, there's something up with the sign.
Oh, I think that's just kind of their logo, is like the head of a hog.
Oh, okay.
It's like bleeding out.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah,
the Hog's Head.
Yes.
Great place to hang out.
Yeah, great place.
This is also where Hagrid won the dragon eggs in a poker game, so that kind of makes sense now.
Yes. It all makes a lot more sense.
This would definitely be a place I don't recommend Hagrid hang out, but, if he were to do questionable things, this would be the place that he could get away with it.
Yeah.
The Hog's Head. I found it hilarious and endearing and lovable that Hermione did all the research to double and triple check that their meeting was on the up and up in every sense of the word, in all the bylaws of Hogwarts. They were totally in the right to do this.
Yep, within their rights to meet up and do this and do it at the Hog's Head. And I think it was Mrs. Weasley's warning, maybe. Like, it's like, yeah, I mean, you could go there, but make sure you bring your own glasses.
Right.
Like, okay, that I would never think about doing that. Going to a bar and having to bring my own glass.
Was it
like
Mrs. Weasley?
It probably wasn't Mrs. Weasley now that I think about it, but
I feel like it was somebody else. Was Sirius?
Did she? But I don't think she talked to Sirius about ahead of time.
Flitwick.
That might have been it.
Because she was asking if kids were allowed at the Hog's Head. He said, yeah, but bring your own glasses. Make sure you bring your own glasses.
Yeah. That sounds better. Actually, yeah, there you go. It is
okay.
Flitwick.
Because I didn't think Mrs. Weasley got involved until after the fact.
Yeah.
Okay, good old Flitwick coming to the rescue.
Yes.
Now, I love that they didn't bring their own glasses. Like, she was like,
exactly.
Oh, it's totally okay that we go? Yeah, we don't need our own glasses. They'll be fine.
Like, I was waiting for her to, like, conjure some up out of thin air. It's like, so I learned this spell. Or maybe just a spell to clean the glasses or something.
Something. Like, I feel like that warning from Flitwick, of all people, would be enough to resonate with her and say, maybe I should.
Yeah, there's a reason she went to Flitwick in the first place.
Right. But yeah, it cracks me up that she went through all the trouble just to make sure that what they were doing was totally perfectly okay, as far as the current rules of Hogwarts.
Yep.
Ron trying to try some fire whiskey. That sounds...
Of course he would.
like a Weasley thing to do.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a little bit worried when, Fred and George came in and went up to order drinks for everybody. Like, you kind of thought that might be what they're doing. It's like, here, guys, try this.
Right, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't come with their own drinks, to be honest with you.
Or, yeah, add something to the drinks.
Yeah. Okay, so the kids. Let's get to this. Tons of kids showed up to this meeting.
Yeah.
Hermione, told Harry, I just told a few, but then some other people kind of heard, and I spread the word.
Yep.
Harry is thinking, 3 or 4. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, at first, when it's like, she was just, like confirming that he was going to do this, like before they even got there. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll teach you and Ron.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I was thinking a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Go big or go home, Harry. So Matt, why don't you rattle off everybody that showed up to this meeting?
All right. So first came through the door Neville with Dean and Lavender.
Okay.
Closely followed by Parvati and Padma Patil, the twins.
Perfect.
And then Cho with one of her usually giggling girlfriends. So we didn't even get a name for that one, but
no, she was referred to as a friend the entire time.
Yes, she was. Luna Lovegood, Katie Bell, Alicia Spinnet, and Angelina Johnson. You should recognize those girls.
Yep.
Colin and Dennis Creevy. Ernie McMillan.
Yes.
Justin Finch Fletchley. Hannah Abbott, and a Hufflepuff girl with no name, once again.
Right.
Once again, it's because it even says here, whose name Harry did not know.
Right.
Once again, we're getting this from Harry's perspective. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah. three Ravenclaw boys he was pretty sure were called Anthony Goldstein, Michael Corner, and Terry Boot. Ginny, followed by a tall, skinny blonde boy with an upturned nose, which Harry recognized vaguely as being a member of the Hufflepuff Quidditch team.
Right.
And then bringing up the rear, Fred and George Weasley with their friend Lee Jordan.
Of course. So the blonde kid turned out to be Zacharias Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the girl from Hufflepuff that Harry did not know, that turned out to be Susan Bones, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the only one that we didn't get the name of was Cho's friend.
Yep.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It is. Like, it's strange that they went this entire time without getting to know her name.
Especially since they ended up naming everybody else.
Yeah. Like, what's the reason for that? Like, is it just because she's so insignificant that JK didn't even bother naming her? She's just like, this is random girl. Like, Cho wouldn't come by herself. So
yeah, exactly. Cho wouldn't come by herself, so we got to give her someone, one of her girlfriends. There you go.
But we're not even going to name her because you don't even have to even say her name, much less remember it.
They're all interchangeable.
Or there's a possibility that it's a really important character and we just don't know it yet. There's always that in the back of my mind.
Always a possibility, yep.
Ever since Cat Lady, Matt, I don't take these things for granted, you know?
Yep.
So there's a ton of kids here, right?
There
are. Somebody in the email segment last week asked me maybe it was you.
No,
was somebody in the email?
It was someone else. Yeah.
Okay. Asked me who I thought would be showing up to the meeting.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure every name that I rattled off was included in this group.
I think they were.
Now, there is no way I was going to be able to guess the totality of this entire group. Like, random Ravenclaws that I've hardly ever met or didn't meet. Like, these Hufflepuffs I didn't know existed. Like, there's no way I could have guessed everybody. Sure. But I feel good in my prediction that everybody that I did name ended up here. And on top of that, not a single Slytherin showed up.
Also true.
So,
but I mean, I think part of that reason, is look at how they spread the word.
Right. Oh yeah.
It was the Gryffindors inviting their friends.
Yeah. Oh no.
Are they friends with the Slytherins?
No, not at
really. All. No. So that's just kind of how it happened because it was all word of mouth. They didn't put something up on the bulletin board or have Dumbledore make an announcement at breakfast. Like, that.
Now, I still feel like Malfoy and gang could get wind of this and crash the party at some point.
You'd think so.
You know, I still feel like that's possible. But this initial meeting, I'm glad that there was no Slytherin.
Yeah, okay. They kept it under wraps.
Yeah. I was also pleasantly surprised to see the true trio of this book, of this story.
Yeah.
Fred, George, and Lee show up.
Okay.
I was glad to see Jenny here. That was cool.
Yeah.
But I suspected Luna was going to be part of it, which would make sense because Jenny is now becoming a bigger part of the story. And I think I said this before, the only way we're ever going to see Luna is because of Jenny.
Yes, if they're involved some way, somehow with Harry, too.
Yeah,
so.
Because they're fourth years, so, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very eclectic group of kids that showed up. Neville. Good old Neville. First one there, of course he is. The Creevy brothers... You know, because anything Harry Potter does, they have to be a part of.
Yep. Anything Harry's name is attached to, they'll be there.
So there's a strong core group here. Now, you know, a lot of the characters I'm not too sure about yet. I don't know what's going on. Ernie Macmillan, you know, he's strong, powerful Hufflepuff. He's there. But the Zacharias Smith character.
Yeah.
I I'm not sure what to make of this dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling me he's a Hufflepuff.
They are.
I was not seeing a lot of Hufflepuff characteristics in this kid.
Not surprised. You're not alone there.
And I couldn't help but not trust him in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But, as I've come to learn with our friend J.K. Rowling, she likes to add red herrings into the story.
Okay.
She enjoys making people feel and think a certain way about somebody and then completely do a 180 with them.
Sure.
Right? So I feel like there was just so much attention put on this Zacharias kid and how much Ron immediately didn't like him, how much he was questioning Harry Potter, how skeptical he was about everything, how kind of shady he was, like no one really knew who he was, and his motives for being there in the first place weren't solid. Like, there was so much attention put on to building this mistrust with him that I think it's a sham. I think he's going to turn out to be a decent boy.
We'll find out.
Been wrong before. Maybe he's a Slytherin in disguise. I don't know.
Slytherin showed up after all.
Yeah. It's possible. So yeah, that's my feeling on this Zacharias Smith person.
Fair enough.
I feel like I know what their first lesson is going to be.
What do you think that is?
So they've set up this meeting to
Yep.
kind of introduce what this club is going to be about.
Yeah.
See who's in and who's out type of thing. But I am pretty sure I know what their first actual lesson is going to be. Learn how to say, or at least hear without going into severe panic mode, Voldy's name.
Sure.
Like, all it was just one mention, and the entire room, like, just
The
shut
entire
down.
group, there's just giant gasp, suck all the air out of the room.
And I feel like Harry just sits there and is just like, you guys need to stop this. This is absolutely
In 5
ridiculous.
years. I've been saying his name for 5 years in front of you.
And, like, I think a part of him wants to say, look, I say his name all the time and nothing bad happens. And then he's like, oh yeah, my scar's throbbing and I almost got killed by him a second time.
This is not Beetlejuice.
Other than that, nothing bad happens when you say his name,
Yeah.
It's just, they need to, kick this fear that they have.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be equipped for...
First step, face your fear. Come on, Harry.
Just, that's what he needs to work with him. Just, like, they all need to just, like, chant his name, Fight Club style. His name was Robert Paulson. His name was Lord Voldemort. His name was, like, just say it until it doesn't, it's just words. It's not even a name. It's not associated with a person. It's not associated with the dark side and doom and gloom and Death Eaters and destruction and chaos. Like, it's not associated with, it's just syllables that you're saying.
Yeah, that should have been like the initiation instead of signing this piece of paper. It's like, all right, you need to say Voldemort's name 10 times,
right?
Go.
Or like, go Boggart style and face your fears with humor. Just call him Voldy. Voldy works. you dehumanize him and reduce his power by not even giving him the satisfaction of being called Lord of Voldemort. Get out of here with that nonsense.
I mean, the name he gave himself.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Call him Voldy and knock him down a peg or two. It's not like they're saying it to his face anyway. They're just saying it. I feel like that's where they need to go with this. So, it's probably not going to happen, but I just, Harry needs to, of everything that's going on, the last thing that he needs to be consistently stressed out about is how people react when the name is said.
Sure.
So Harry finally got to tell a story.
He did. And, I mean, he definitely got the feeling that's the only reason some of the people were there.
Right.
But it also kind of feels like by the end of it that he may have swayed some people to stay because of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of worked out for him.
And I appreciate that. But this was, again, one of those moments where I realized as a reader, I'm more in the know than the characters in the story. I had completely forgotten the fact that most of the kids, almost all of the kids at Hogwarts,
Yep.
didn't know the story of what happened. They knew, like, the basic, very basic details. Voldemort's returned. He killed Cedric. Harry brought Cedric's body back. End of story.
Yeah. This is something that, we've been with Harry the whole time, so we've known this since last year.
Right.
We've known this since, probably almost like 6 months now.
Mm-hmm.
in their time.
Yeah.
Like, it's old news. Why are you guys still going on about this? It's, you actually haven't heard the story. You don't know the details.
None of the details. And not only that, but the Sorcerer's Stone, the Chamber of Secrets, like all of that stuff that we know about. Now, he kept Sirius Black's story out of, story time in the Hog's Head, which is probably a good idea. But all the other stories, like, he's like, oh my god, like, you guys don't know anything about what's happened the last few years. Like, you know that me and my crew have been a part of this, all these different events, but, like, none of them really knew the extent of what was happening at Hogwarts over the last few years.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, though, it was a little bit surprising how much some of them did know.
Yeah. Yeah.
In particular, when Susan Bones, we found out, mentioned the Patronus.
Right. Well, that one was not really a surprise because Susan Bones is the niece of blank Bones.
Amelia Bones.
Who was part of the...
Yes. Because she also asked, you created Patronus, and it's like, yes, and was it a Corpio Patronus?
Right.
And it's like, where have we heard that before? They're very concerned about this in the Bones family.
Sure. Well, so yeah, like, Amelia Bones was part of that juror squad at the Ministry.
Like, I understand why she knew about it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure no one else in that group knew.
No.
They wouldn't have been privy to those details.
Exactly, and that's what's fascinating to me, is, like, all of this stuff has happened to Harry Potter, and, like, he never wants to talk about it because it's always so exhausting, and it's just like, I just want to, like, I don't want the fame and fortune of all of this. Like, I don't want to be known for any of this. So, like, he's doing, like, the Corporal Patronus, but, like, he's not, like, bragging about it, and none of the kids would ever know because they're not seeing it. Ron and Hermione aren't talking about it.
Yep.
It's all fascinating, Matt. It really knocked me back to, man, the kids at Hogwarts are dumb. But it's only because they're lacking the knowledge. Like, they're ignorant to the fact of all these things happening.
Exactly. No,
kudos to the staff for that one.
Yes, for that. And even the events of last year, like, normally something like that would have been publicized.
Yeah.
You would have seen that all over the headlines and the newspapers and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But since the Ministry doesn't want to believe it, they've kind of taken over the paper that, as far as we've seen,
Right.
that no one has been able to get those details.
Mm-hmm.
But the one time we would like them to spread the details so everybody knows what's going on, this is the one time they don't do it.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic, and it was kind of refreshing to finally get to that point where all of these fellow students, these peers of Harry Potter, are in the know. You know, as long as they believe everything that they're told by him and Ron and Hermione, then you know they're accepting of the fact of like these events have actually happened.
Yep. I mean, I guess I always like to see people trying to get stuff firsthand.
Yeah.
Now, I'm always confused by the people who want to get the story firsthand. They get the story firsthand, then don't believe it.
Right.
It's like, then why were you asking?
Right.
But it seems like everybody in this group at this point seems to be pretty accepting of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just the veil of secrecy has been lifted a little bit here.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. So why I am concerned yet skeptical about Zacharias Smith's legitimacy, and why I think it could be just a false positive on not trusting him. I'm really getting attached to Ernie Macmillan, and that's starting to scare me a little bit. Because I feel like the opposite could be true. Now, you saw how excited I got with Cedric Diggory, and I'm not saying Ernie's going to fall into the same fate as Cedric, but I just don't like JK starting to get me excited about certain characters.
Sure.
You know, Ernie, he's kind of a goody two shoes. Like he wants to make sure he's the best prefect he could be, but he has a lot of really good qualities that I appreciate about him. That the more I learn about him, so I'm kind of wary about learning anything else about him. You know, the more I get to know about him, the more likely he is to like turn on me completely, or you know, meet a very unfortunate fate. So I'm tiptoeing around my fancy of Ernie Macmillan.
Fair enough.
Luna Lovegood.
She has a mind of her own.
I can't stop loving this girl. I'm sorry.
That's good.
I can't hold it back. She's a straight shooter, isn't she?
Absolutely. She knows what she believes, and she's not backing down.
There's no filter on this girl.
Yep. Nope. It's like, this is how it is.
Helio Paths. She mentioned Helio Paths. Don't know what those are.
Yes, this is our first mention of Helio Paths.
We don't know if they're actually real or not. Like there seems to be some debate in the room as to the existence of these heliopath fire creature things. Fire demons.
The fire spirits.
Yeah.
Like the biggest problem, I guess, is that this happens with everything that she believes in, really. Mm-hmm. And oddly enough, like, I don't know if I don't know if it makes you believe her less or believe her more, or what it does for your opinion, but more often than not, it's Hermione that's trying to shoot her down. Yeah.
I have no reason not to believe Luna at this point. Like, nothing she said has been disproven, you know?
Yeah.
She doesn't strike me as, like, the wacky seer type, like Professor Trelawney, you know, where it's like 1 in 20 guesses is going to be right. Like, it's not... She's not, like, trying to, like, conjure up predictions or anything. She says everything so matter of fact with no emotion, she's not trying to convince anybody. She's not trying to make anybody believe her. She's just stating it as fact 100%.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't help but believe her, because she's not emotionally invested in whatever she's saying. She's just saying it because that's what it is. That's how I read it, at least.
Sure. And with most of her statements thus far, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
This one becomes a little bit more of a problem because not only is she talking about a Helio Path, which is debatable whether or not it exists even,
mm-hmm.
but her statement is that Fudge has his own private army of Helio Paths.
Sure.
I mean, so that's taking your belief one step further. There's two things in there. One, that the creatures exist, and two, that Fudge has an army.
Doesn't surprise me one bit. Not at all.
I guess where I get stuck up is, like, if Fudge has an army,
mm-hmm.
why is he so worried?
Because, I mean, they're fire demons. Like, that would... they seem like a... like, in case of emergency, break glass type of situation.
Sure.
Like, he doesn't want people to know that he has these creatures, but, like, if worse came to worse, he could unleash them if necessary.
Fair enough.
You know.
Yeah.
So he's still worried because he doesn't want to be exposed for having them, but he also is probably walking around a little bit more confident knowing that he has them in his back pocket.
Okay.
Also, I don't feel like he fully trusts the Dementors at this point. Especially because we know that Voldy tends to favor Dementors, and he kind of could get them on his side if need be. And while many of them do work for the Ministry and work at Azkaban or whatever, if they could be easily influenced by Voldy, I think Fudge knows that they are unreliable to be used for whatever purposes he needs them for. So having these Heliopath creatures to go head-to-head with the Dementors in the battle royale of all things dark and demented is necessary.
Okay.
I just want to see this showdown. Heliopath versus Dementor. Let's just do it.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, so I mean, so her saying that, like, that was probably the least surprising thing of this chapter. I was just like, yeah, of course he does. Like, why wouldn't he, you know? Like, he is crazy. He is crazy enough to do something like that.
Yeah.
Granted, I don't know if these things are real things. I don't know how reliable Luna is. But it also didn't strike me as like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that he would have this army of fire demons at his side. Yeah, of course he would.
Yeah.
He's a madman who will do anything to keep his power. So, can't wait to learn more about Helio Paths. Overall, I would say it was a successful first meeting.
I would agree for sure.
Mm-hmm. Nobody walked out. There was some skepticism, rightfully so.
Yeah, but they got most of that sorted out once Harry started talking, I think.
Mm-hmm. People had different motives for being there, but I feel like in the end, everybody kind of understood what the goal of this group is going to be, and I feel like everybody's kind of on the same page as to why it's important, and everybody seems to be on board with going forward with this. So, what more could you ask for?
Not much.
I mean, we could wonder who the veiled witch was sitting around. Kept getting mentioned about a dozen times in this entire chapter.
Yep.
very interesting indeed. But yeah, overall, solid meeting. Solid first meeting at like the sketchiest dive bar they could possibly find.
You got it.
Yeah, and then we ended the chapter with a reminder that these are dumb 15-year-old kids and they have dumb young love going on, and it's
all over the place.
I can't even keep up with it, Matt. There's where's Hermione and Victor Crumb? Like, how is that playing out? We have Harry head over heels for Cho. Like, she seems to be mutually interested. At least Hermione seems to think so. We have Jenny going out with this other dude that Ron immediately hates because protective older brother Ron needs to be, angry about something. Kind of find out that Jenny was definitely crushing on Harry the last few books. Duh. We all knew that. But now that she's seen this other guy, suddenly that's why she's talking more. And she's more involved in the group because she doesn't have the concern of, like, looking foolish in front of, the infamous Harry Potter. It's just like, it's just Harry. Whatever.
Yep. We're done with him.
Kids are dumb, Matt. Kids are dumb. And I remember being that young and being that dumb. But I want to think I was better than this. I probably wasn't.
Yep.
Young love. Harry Potter style.
You got it.
Did you have anything else about that chapter?
No, I think that was about it.
The important stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, before we get to chapter 17, I feel like this would be a good time to dive into the Muggle poll for the week.
I think it's perfect time.
The Muggle poll is something that you put up on Twitter. Our Twitter account is @TalesFromGH. Put it up roughly 4 p.m. Pacific time on the day of recording this episode. Gives everybody on Twitter a chance to chime in on a question that you create revolving around the chapters that we read for the week. So, Matt, what did you ask the people this week?
Well, I wanted you to once again dive into the world of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Picture, I don't know, Ginny coming up to you and inviting you to the meeting at the Hog's Head.
Yeah.
And would you go? Give you a couple options. Because,
Mm-hmm.
you're obviously yes or no, right? But we saw a variety of situations
right
in that meeting, and I want to know if anybody fell into those categories.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, only if you brought a friend. Like you wouldn't go to this meeting alone.
Cho-chang.
Yes. You wanted to go just to hear Harry's story,
mm-hmm.
or no, you would never go.
Here's the thing, Matt.
Yeah.
I want to say that I would be slightly interested in being a troublemaker. That I would want to rebel a little bit. That I'd be interested in doing something that may not be fully school sanctioned. That I'd be brave enough to do something like this. That I'd be inquisitive enough to find out about Harry Potter and the stories that he has to tell from the last few years. Like, I want to say I would have all these good reasons for going.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, Matt, I feel like going back to the young, dumb love scenario, if one of these wonderful girls walked up to me and was like, hey, do you want to go to this meeting? I'm just saying yes just to hang out with them, right? Whether it be Ginny, Hermione, Luna, Cho, whoever it is, yeah, of course, whatever you say, If I'm at one of those 3 tables, and one of these girls is approaching me to come, I'm coming, right?
Fair enough.
I'm there. I'm definitely
honest
there.
answer. There you go.
Dumb love, Matt.
Yep.
I'm interested in whatever they're interested in.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, in a teenage mind, at least.
What do the people say, though, Matt?
The people are not going to miss this meeting.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, So I looked it up the other week, and we have actually gotten a couple of 0% before that I forgot about.
Okay.
But they're rare.
Yeah.
They're very rare. We got another one this week.
Good. I don't have to yell at anybody.
Yes. So we have a whopping 72% that just say straight up, yes, I'm going. 19% need a friend to come with them. 9% are going just to hear Harry's story, but everybody's going.
Yeah. Everybody has a reason to go. Even if you're promised like punch and pie. Like, there is a reason to go to this meeting.
Yep.
Oh, I'm getting a free butterbeer out of the deal? Sure, let's do this. Oh, I get to hang out away from the Slytherin? Cool, let's do this. You know? Like, whatever the case is, anybody out there should be able to find a reason to go to this.
Yeah, I mean, and you have a feeling most of them are going to Hogsmeade anyway. So it's like, okay, sure, I can spare, 30, 40 minutes. I don't know how long they were in there. Were they in there for an hour even?
Maybe if that.
Spend the rest of the day. I mean, we know Fred George and Lee Jordan had time to stop by his uncle's and buy out the store before they came over. So,
and none of them seem pressed for time. It's not like they rushed out of there. No. So, yeah. Why not? What do you got to lose, At least hear what they got to say.
Exactly.
So good job. Everybody out there answered correctly in one way, shape, or form. You all win.
Perfect.
Let's move on to chapter 17.
Chapter 17, Educational Decree number 24.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear what this is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be the best day ever at Hogwarts, right?
No, it's just going to be something miserable. We're probably going to learn something else awful about Umbridge. It's a bad start to the chapter, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the very start to the chapter made me think of our giveaway question from last week, Mm-hmm. You were so concerned. It's like, do we ever hear about the weekends at Hogwarts?
Yeah.
And now she continuously seems to be mentioning the weekend. Like, I'm looking for that word now. Like, she actually used the word weekend at the beginning of this chapter.
Yeah.
It's like, what did they do on Saturday? Oh, they went to Hogsmeade. What did they do on Sunday? Homework by the lake. Got it. Cool.
Yep. Either way, Harry Potter's in a good mood.
He is.
Oh, wait, hold on. Are there any new characters this chapter?
No.
Okay. Good. That means I paid attention enough to know that.
Yes.
Harry Potter's in a good mood.
He is.
This makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy when Harry is happy. He's had a rough year.
Definitely.
He needed some things to smile about, and he's feeling good about things. This is a budding little romance with Cho. People are not only believing him, but kind of looking up to him in a mentor type of way, not in a, oh, you're the famous Harry Potter or the infamous Harry Potter. Now it's like, oh, you are really good at this stuff. We need your help with this. Yep. It's not just him living off of his namesake anymore.
Yeah.
It's people appreciating his talents, which he's still very modest about, but this is good for him. This is good. I am intrigued, Matt.
Yeah?
By the sloth grip roll maneuver in Quidditch.
Sure.
I could only imagine what this consists of.
You can kind of picture it, right?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I know what a sloth looks like.
Yeah.
I would imagine like some sort of hang from the broom. Like, that sounds super dangerous, but maybe?
That's why it's so creative, I guess. No one's ever done it before. Why it's a new move.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe? Who knows? I'm starting to feel like we might not ever see Quidditch in this book. So, right off the bat, the kids found something unsettling on the bulletin board. The Educational Decree number 24, Matt.
Yeah. Didn't waste any time getting to that in this chapter.
No.
We're gonna put that out there right away.
Yeah.
Here you go for everybody to see.
Yeah. You want to summarize basically what it said?
Basically, you can't. No more than 3 students can get together to do anything without permission from, well, the High Inquisitor?
The High Inquisitor herself.
Yeah, like they spelled it out and broke down into all these different groups of students that might get together, but ultimately it comes down to, no more than 3 students can be together doing the same thing at any one time.
No clubs, no activities, no teams, no anything.
Yeah. All student organizations, societies, teams, groups, and clubs.
Yeah. And this comes pretty much on the heels of this meeting of the students at the Hogshead.
Yeah, so their meeting was on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
They were doing homework on Sunday.
Right.
And then I believe this was on Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
When I think it was even before class, or it might have been after their first class or something like that. But fairly early in the morning yet, like Monday morning, less than 48 hours after they created their group.
Right. Well, this is before, because their first class is Binns' class.
Potion.
Binns, isn't it?
Maybe.
History of Magic? Yeah. Because that's when the Hedwig thing happened. I'm pretty sure that was the first class. Because Potions is later on.
That could be.
Right? I think? Maybe.
Well,
I could be wrong. Someone's going to write in and say I'm wrong. Anyway,
we'll
whatever.
Figure it out. Yep.
Still. Okay. This happens pretty much right after their meeting, right?
Yeah.
Umbridge found out somehow. She knows something's going on. How does she know? Was it the Veiled Witch in the pub? I say probably. Unless it's one of the students that ratted them out. Zacharias. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this woman is all-knowing to a frustrating level. It just feels like it, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like she has little snitches and not the golden snitch. All over the place. Ready to report back to her on all kinds of things.
Yeah, somehow she does find out about these things, and the biggest problem then is she has enough power to do something about them immediately.
Right. Now, like this notice didn't state anything about this meeting that they had, but it's too much of a coincidence. You know, like, why would she shut down everything right after this? You know?
Yeah.
Does she turn into a bug like Rita Skeeter and she just fly around and hang out on walls and listen into everything? Don't know. Probably not, but that would be an all too easy answer. Okay. So this sucks. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be a challenge, you know.
Definitely.
We now know where some conflict is going to be coming from. Students wanting to create this organization, this awful woman trying to shut it down before it even starts. Okay. All right. Best part of this chapter, though. Best part.
Yeah.
Ron trying to go to the girls' dormitory. So apparently the staircase leading up to the girls' dormitory, which we've never been in. Like, this was the first time I'd even thought about the girls' dormitory.
Yep.
Because everything always takes place in the boys' dormitory. Like, even Hermione hangs out down there, you know?
Yeah.
So we try to go to the girls' dormitory. No. Suddenly the staircase turns into a giant concrete slide.
Yep. The alarms go off. And
yeah. Sorry, Ron. Sorry, Harry. The best part about this, though, are the girls that run out and
yes,
jump on the slide excited that one of the boys tried to come up there because they just turned the staircase into something awesomely fun for them.
Which tells you then that this is not the first time it's happened.
No, they wait for this.
Yes. It's like, I mean, that's the only part of it that, like, I think they said the first girls down were like 4th years.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, how did Ron and Harry never encounter this in their 5 years at this school?
Right.
I mean,
I think they even questioned that to each other.
Yeah, not necessarily that they tried to go up, but that no one has tried to go up while they were in the room.
Yeah. They hadn't heard about it, like nothing.
Yeah.
Which, I kind of feel like the girls would ask the boys to come up like once a day, or at least try to, just to turn it into a slide so they could have fun, you know?
Yeah. They'd have to ask a new boy every day, though.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I mean, girls get what they want when it comes to that kind of stuff. It wouldn't take much for them to convince somebody to try to come up there. I appreciated like the fun little moment here because it was so different from the norm than what we see. You know?
Yes. But once again, still gave you that magical feeling.
Yeah.
It's like we're not talking about, you know, a whole bunch of like sensors and mechanics and stuff. It's no, that the staircase knew that boys were trying to come up.
Yeah.
And like how it was described, that the stairs melted into a slide.
Yep.
Like, okay, these stone stairs.
Yeah, they didn't retract. They just kind of.
No. Yeah.
The first couple books, I think, were really good at bringing us the magic of Hogwarts. You know, like around every corner and every nook and cranny, there is something magical about this place, right? Yep. We really got the sense for that in the first couple books. I feel like we don't get it enough anymore because we've been there for so long. Yeah. So it's nice to have these little moments to still remind us that, yeah, this place is crazy magical, you know?
Yep.
I appreciate it. Learning new little quirky things about this place, it will always be fun. And that's why I keep saying there is more stories to tell of Hogwarts than just, you know, this main story here.
Yeah.
So that was good. Let's see. Angelina's freaking out about the Quidditch because she kind of realized that this new educational decree number 24 meant that the Quidditch team would be disbanded and they would need to seek approval to be reformed. Which, this is baffling to me. Like, I understand it, but Quidditch is such a big part of the House Cup that happens at Hogwarts each year.
Yep.
That I don't know how she would be able, Umbridge, I mean, would be able to get away with not allowing one of the houses to even form a Quidditch team.
Yeah.
You know, like that would immediately disqualify them, essentially, from even having a chance at the Quidditch, at the House Cup, you know?
Well, I see, and this is where she has way too much power.
Yeah.
Because she has her prejudices, and she is in a place with Fudge, the minister, who right now has basically ultimate power, who is so paranoid that she knows how to manipulate him. And if it's her job right now to make sure that no opposition comes up out of Hogwarts. Mm-hmm. So if you need to, disband all groups and thoroughly vet them to make sure that none of these groups are doing anything mischievous, then okay, I'll give that to you. Like, right. She's just playing into Fudge's paranoia. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the only reason it works. Like, Fudge should completely understand Quidditch and understand that it's a harmless sport, understand that nothing bad is going to come from these teams.
Yeah.
But this is Umbridge abusing her power
Greatly.
Yes. Lumping all groups, all teams into this one category and saying, yeah, they could all be bad, so we got to get rid of all of them.
Yeah. It's going to be a tough year. Just overall.
I'm just thinking right now, poor Ron.
Yeah.
Like, after all he's gone through to finally make it onto the team.
Right.
And then they're going to cancel it?
Yeah. That's the last thing he needs. But, like, at least, I think a part of it would be relieved because at least he wouldn't have a chance to fail either.
Yeah.
As good as he wants to be at Quidditch, like, you know, and they were described as, like, the last few practices have gotten better for Ron.
Exactly. Like, the last two practices, he hadn't gotten yelled at all. Like,
sure.
He's starting to feel good about this. He wants to do it now.
But if I know Ron, I feel like a part of him would be like, okay, at least I'm not going to be a complete and utter failure out there and be laughed at by the entire school for not being as good as Quidditch as I want to be or should be based on my family heritage.
Sure.
You know, he's like, whew, avoided that one. So we'll see. We'll see where this goes. We need Quidditch. I'm sure they'll play. I'm sure of it.
Can't go 2 years without it, right?
Well, I don't trust anything, Matt. I can't say anything definitively. You know that. Real quick.
Yeah.
Professor Binns.
He's still there.
Still there. Now, remind me again whether or not he knows at this point if he's dead or not. Is he still oblivious to the fact that he's a ghost?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because the whole bit was that he didn't realize that he died, just got up and kept teaching.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, that's what he's been doing ever since. So
I just feel like that was 4 years ago. At some point, he would. I just love this guy. I need so much more information about him. And Matt, JK, she's a tease.
Yeah?
She's a tease, Matt. She mentioned the Giant Wars.
One of your all-time favorite topics that you don't get any information about.
We are about to learn about the Giant Wars, and why aren't we focusing on this lesson?
You would be paying attention so hard in this class.
I am fixed on this. I am me and Benz, we are locked into this united teacher student formation here. Like we are, two souls as one on this one.
Sure.
The story in J.K. Rowling did not go that direction, however.
Nope.
She just wanted to casually mention that we're talking about one of the coolest things. Giant Wars, number 1. Goblin Rebellion, number 2. Like, those are the top 2 most fascinating things that I need to know about. And she's just like, no, I'm just going to keep mentioning them, but we're probably never going to learn about them ever. So, that sucks. JK. She's killing me, Matt. She's killing me.
Yes.
So instead of learning about the Giant Wars, we had to deal with an owl.
Yes. Like, I kind of wondered, too, like, if it was anybody but Binns' class, would Hedwig have showed up? Like, is Hedwig that smart that she knows, I can get away with it here?
Yeah.
Or was it honestly just a timing thing? It's like, okay, this is when I made it. I'll find Harry now.
Yeah, I feel like a lot had to do with knowing that Binns' class would.
Yeah.
Poor Hedwig.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems to be hurt and distressed.
Definitely.
To the hospital wing Well, that's what Harry tells Professor Binns, who...
Hospital for animals, yes.
He doesn't care at all about what's going on. He's like, whatever.
Well, yeah, he calls them Perkins on the way out. Like, do you really not know Potter's name?
Right.
Have you? Okay.
Again, Matt, it was described as when Binns looks up, he's still surprised that anybody is in his class.
Yeah.
That's how much effort he puts into remembering anybody's name. He doesn't even realize people are there. He just talks. He just does his thing. Man, I need to spend like an entire book just in that class.
You would enjoy it, I'm sure.
I so would. Anyway, so Harry rushes Hedwig to go find Professor Grubbly Planks.
Yeah.
Because
Hagrid would be number one choice, but he's not here right now.
Yeah, he's still MIA. So
go for the replacement.
The substitute will have to work. Doesn't see her anywhere near Hagrid's hut. Realizes that if she's not teaching, she's probably in the staff room.
Yep.
The staff room, Matt! They have a staff room at Hogwarts!
Yep.
This is fantastic news. Better news about the staff room?
Yeah?
Guarded by gargoyles.
It is.
That's fantastic. Like, this is our first mention of gargoyles at Hogwarts, right? In this world at all? I don't remember gargoyles ever being mentioned.
Was one of the secret passages guarded by gargoyle? Maybe.
I don't know.
That's where I want to put a gargoyle, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's possible. Regardless, like, this is our first like real encounter. Like, they are snarky little things, aren't they?
Absolutely.
They're not really good at actually guarding anything.
No, they didn't really like stop him from doing anything. Just kind of like hope their remarks would chase him off.
Ooh, it's serious, like urgent or whatever it was. Like,
yeah,
classic gargoyles. I appreciated that McGonagall immediately thought that Harry got his attention. Like, why else would he be there?
Yep.
You know,
I mean, the past like two or three times that they met, yeah. Oh, detention. Why?
Yeah.
But one quick question I have
for
our listeners out there, unless you know, who's Sonny Jim?
Sonny Jim?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is even in reference to.
So this was the gargoyles.
Okay.
You're probably too busy laughing at the gargoyles.
Probably.
Because when Harry walks up to him and like he gets there and he's like, this is before he even says anything, they say, you should be in class, Sonny Jim.
Huh.
So, like,
okay. I just Googled Sonny Jim.
Yeah, I tried looking it up.
Yeah.
And did you find what I found?
Used as a humorous or patronizing way of addressing a man.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. What did you find?
I found a cereal mascot named Sonny Jim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if they're still somehow related, but is a cereal called Force that was apparently created in the US but took off more in the UK. And so it made me wonder if, like, I don't know. Like, in the book, it's not capitalized. The Sonny isn't capitalized. Yeah. So I don't think it's a reference to that.
Right.
But it threw me off. I'm like, who is Sonny Jim? Why are they calling him Sonny Jim?
Right.
Or Jim at all? Like, it just didn't make sense to me.
Urban Dictionary Said by a more experienced person to a less experienced young male in order to pull rank, upgrade, or remind him of his place in the pecking order. So, there we go. So
All right.
it is kind of like a gargoyles, like are old, are ancient, and like there's this dumb young kid running up to him. So it's like the old crotchety grandpa sitting on the front porch, like, hey, you know, get off my lawn type of thing.
Well,
Now, if anybody out there has a better explanation,
exactly. Like, I want to throw it out there and see if someone knows more specifically what might be going on here. But yeah.
Maybe it is used more in the UK than us dumb Americans would know.
Yeah. One of those phrases I've been thrown off before, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to your staff room.
Yeah. Thankfully, Grubbly Planks is in there. She rushes to the aid of Hedwig. I am thankful for Grubbly Planks. And I've said some very positive things about Grubbly Planks, Matt.
You have, yeah, definitely.
I don't know why, but suddenly I'm a little nervous. Like, I don't know if it was the fact that she took Hedwig and, like, disappeared with her, or
what do you expect? Like, just...
I don't know, but I want everything to be on the up and up with Grubbly Planks. And she seemed so neutral. She seems just so straightforward. I'm happy to be here type of personality. Something just rubbed me a little bit the wrong way. And I like I said, I don't know exactly what it was. I'm worried about Hedwig. I'm worried that she got attacked by something or someone. We don't know. I don't know. There was just a little bit... Maybe I'm just reading way too much into it, but it seemed like there was a little too much eagerness with Grubbly Planks to rush off with Hedwig to get her mended and on the up and up. Maybe all she's doing is just her job, and I'm just being overly cautious here, but fallen down this trap before, Matt.
Yeah.
So that's all. I want to be wrong.
Don't know who you can trust.
I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong in being suspicious at all about Grubbly Planks. I don't know. We'll see.
We will see.
Got a mention of Thestrals.
Thestrals, yes.
What are Thestrals, Matt?
We don't know.
We do not. You do.
I do, sure.
I feel like the listening audience probably does. I do not.
We here on the show have not reached that point yet where we know.
No.
This is our first mention of the creature named Thestrals.
Right. We learned about Helio Paths. Now we have Thestrals. Like, there's just like this whole weird grouping of unusual creatures being mentioned in these two chapters that I'm cautious of.
All right.
Yeah. So we don't know what Thestrals are. I hope we learn what Thestrals are. I feel like they wouldn't have been mentioned if we wouldn't learn what they are. There's a potential...
Should go ask Luna what they are.
Yeah. There's a possibility that these things attacked Hedwig. So it's like, what is at Hogwarts that we don't know about that would possibly...
Who said it was at Hogwarts?
Well, that's true, I guess.
She could have been attacked anywhere.
I thought they said the Thestrals at Hogwarts, though.
Oh, did she mention Thestrals at Hogwarts?
I thought so, because they said that they wouldn't ever attack an owl, but something along those lines. Or they're not known to attack owls because they're trained, or something.
Well, I thought she said something along the lines of, like, Thestrals will sometimes go for birds, of course. Oh, but Hagrid's got the Hogwarts Thestrals well trained not to touch owls.
Yeah.
Specifically owls, even, yeah.
Sure. So we know they're at Hogwarts. What could be at Hogwarts that, could, in theory, go after an owl? That's frightening.
But there's some praise for Hagrid, too.
Yeah.
He trained the Thestrals, yay.
Yeah. Which is just weird that he's never mentioned them, though. Like, he's so quick to talk about all of his creatures.
Yeah.
And show them off. So, what secrets is Hagrid holding onto?
He's been there a long time.
He's the worst secret keeper at Hogwarts.
Maybe he forgot.
Yep, that's most likely. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see. I'm sure. Now it's time for potions class, Matt.
Yes.
Yeah. Malfoy and gang. Malfoy is quick to point out that they've already been approved to be Slytherin Quidditch team. Everything's good to go for them.
Yep. Thanks to his father.
Yeah, he's pulling rank on that one. Sonny Jim. Yeah, again, there's nothing for me to even grasp at that makes me want to like Malfoy.
Yeah.
Crabbe and Goyle, they're just as horrible. They, start talking about that's Saint Mungus, right?
Saint Mungos?
Mungos. Yep. Which Neville takes extreme exception to. We know, as the readers, why he gets so fighty.
Yep.
Harry understands immediately. That's why he's trying to hold him back.
Yep.
But again, one of those things where, Harry pointed out in his head, oh yeah, nobody else knows why Neville's upset. Neville doesn't even know that I know why he's upset.
Quite the conundrum.
Yeah. It's just stupid Slytherin. They're just... Why? What? They get pleasure from just the smallest, littlest little bits of antagonization that they could possibly deliver.
Yep.
I just feel like they could be spending their time better.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, once again, they're dumb 15-year-old boys.
Yeah. So entering potions class. It's gonna be fun. Oh, great! It's even better today. Umbridge is in Snape's class.
Yes.
Yay!
And right along with Harry, you don't know who to despise more. Snape or Umbridge? Who do you want to win? Who do you want to win?
I mean, Snape's awful, but when put up next to Umbridge, I mean, it's no contest, right?
Is it? That's what I'm wondering. Where do you stand?
100% on Snape's side.
All right.
If this is the sole reason why Snape is your favorite character, just because he's not as bad as Umbridge, then I totally understand why. As bad as Snape is, he's still trying to be the best teacher he could be. He may pick on Harry and he pick on the Gryffindors, but he doesn't, give them the worst detention punishment of all time,
Yeah.
He made Ron clean a trophy room, for crying out loud.
Sure.
In comparison, his detentions are a breeze. This isn't even a comparison, Matt. This isn't even worth having a discussion about. Of course, Snape is 1,000 times better than Umbridge. And this is a discussion that they're having between the two of them. I didn't fully know that I wanted to hear until it played out.
Yep.
They're going tit for tat with each other.
It's quite an interesting interaction.
Like, McGonagall shut her down so quickly, right?
Yes.
I feel like Snape wanted to do the same thing, but Umbridge is just like, nope, I'm going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Oh, so you're still not Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, are you? Why is that? Like, let's just keep pouring salt into that wound as if he's not bitter enough about things in his life. He's going to be insufferable because he's going to be in a bad mood. The fact that she was just so relentless with him, and he took it, but he was still being as Snapey as he could possibly be back to her.
Yes.
They were just going blow for blow, and it kind of hurt my head a little bit. But yeah, she's just awful, Matt. Like, why? There's no comparison.
Sure.
For
Okay.
reals.
I'll take it.
Trelawney.
Okay.
She's having some feels.
Yeah, she's kind of gone back to a moody teenager almost.
Yeah, she's off her game a little bit.
Yep. Very distracted.
She's going all anti-establishment.
Yep.
Of course, she would be the most hippiest character there is. She's just like, down with the government, down with the establishment. You know? Umbridge is just leaving her fingerprints all over this school. And like, she is making everybody as miserable as she possibly can, with the exception of House Slytherin.
So far, yeah.
So far. I don't think she's loyal to Slytherin in any way, shape, or form. Like, I feel like their time is coming. You know, with how she treated Snape, who is the head of the house.
Yep.
Like, there is potential for her to shut them down as much as... I don't think she's going to be playing favorites, you know? She's just awful to everybody. She's just trying to tear Hogwarts down from the inside.
Yeah. I mean, we said it before. She's on the ministry side.
Yeah.
She's on the minister payroll.
Yep. I'm skipping over the worst scene that we've had to read in a long time. There's no reason to talk about what awful things the twins were up to. That was so gross and unnecessary, Matt.
I honestly forgot that you had a problem with that again.
Yeah, that's
like,
so unnecessary.
We didn't talk about slugs. What are you talking about?
I was waiting for slugs to appear because that only would have made this whole scene better. You know.
But yes, they perfected one of their candies from their skeeving snack boxes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good for them. Let's move on. Sirius in the fireplace.
He's back again. Yeah.
Back.
Same time, same place.
Same time, same place. So what did we learn from Sirius's little visit this time around?
We learned Mundungus was the witch.
Because of course he was, right?
Who else would it be? Because he was banned 20 years ago.
How bad and awful do you have to be banned from that place?
Yeah.
Oh,
and like
Mundungus.
a lifetime ban, too, it sounds like. Like if it was 20 years ago and he's still hiding to go in there, you know he's been going there ever since he's been banned.
Well, yeah, because they said that he's having to dress as a witch now because he lost the spare invisibility cloak from Moody that he borrowed.
Well, no, he didn't lose. They lost it because of Sturgis.
That's right. That's right. They lost it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Regardless, he's had to dress as a witch now.
The group is down one invisibility cloak.
Yeah. So that's him. That's his disguise.
Yep.
Because, of course, Mundungus.
Yeah.
What a character. So why is Mundungus there, Matt?
Because he's following Harry.
Yes, Harry's still getting tailed.
Yes.
Everywhere he goes.
Anywhere outside of Hogwarts. I mean,
Yep.
we got enough people to watch him there, but...
Yep. So is Mundungus the one that snitched on Harry and crew?
What do you think?
Maybe. Seems like
I
it.
mean, it's definitely kind of on the sly side. He could do that. He was there. He heard them. But would he?
I don't know. I have no gauge for his character at this point.
Like, I mean, it's kind of hard to say because, like, I don't know if the Order has an official stance on this.
Right.
Because Mrs. Weasley is against it, but Sirius is for it. So
anything Sirius is for, Mrs. Weasley is already automatically against.
Pretty much.
And also any dangerous or compromising situations that the kids may be in, Mrs. Weasley's against.
Makes sense.
They have nothing going for them in the way of Mrs. Weasley approving of this. She tells Ron specifically, or tells Sirius to tell Ron specifically, you're out. You can't do this.
Yep.
She highly advises Ron and Hermione to be out as well, but she also realizes that she has no legal guardianship over them, so she can't, in theory, tell them not to.
Can't really tell you what to do, but here's some advice.
Yeah. Mrs. Weasley. She's... What a great mom, you know?
She knows her place.
Yeah. And of course Sirius is for it, you know, because of course he is, right?
Yep.
This is many years in the making, I feel like. You know, this is kind of the culmination of what the Marauders started back in the day.
Sure.
You know? Started off very innocent, but like there was also like a whole lot of secrecy behind it, and just this was kind of what they were building towards that they didn't even know they were building towards, in a way.
Yeah.
And then something happened, Matt.
Yeah.
Sirius seemed to have been caught in the flu network.
Possibly.
Maybe. Which, you know, like, this is something that they've been kind of warning about. Like,
yeah, like McGonagall just warned him, I think today, that some of the, what she said, the communication channels are being watched.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Yep.
Gotta be careful.
So Sirius, he turns his head, he stops talking, then he disappears, right?
Yep.
And then we see a hand in the fire.
Hand.
Very specific hand.
Stubbly little hand. Bunch of rings.
Umbridge's hand.
That'd be it.
Uh-oh. And that's the end of the chapter!
It is.
Are you kidding me, Matt?
Nope.
Like, if I don't have, like, a big thing that I'm looking forward to in this book, at least I know that you're going to keep me on the edge of my seat on a week-to-week basis. You know? I appreciate that. So, I don't know. Where was Sirius when he was in the Flu Network? Like, how did Umbridge get involved? Like, did she come in through a separate Flu Network? Like, I have so many questions.
Yes.
Did she catch Sirius in person?
Since we've kind of determined, like, yeah, the Flu Network is kind of like their telephone system.
Yeah. Did this turn into like a three-way call here?
Exactly. Did she intercept their call? Did she? Yeah.
Don't they have call waiting?
Get there from Sirius? Is that get a busy signal?
Star 69. Like, how'd this happen? There's so many kids out there that have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You kids out there listening that don't know what landlines are, I tell you what, that's a conversation for another day. But boy, oh boy, you missed out on some special times in the history of technology. Yeah, I'm so confused by this. Did she catch Sirius in person? Did she, like you said, intercept the call, essentially? Also, why would she be in the Food Network? What is she doing? Like, is she just eavesdropping on anything that Harry Potter's up to? Is she just randomly jumping into the fireplaces of the common rooms just to see what's going on? What is this woman up to, Matt?
That's the big question.
I'm sure we'll find out, but not this week.
Not this week.
Nope. Let's get to some emails.
All right, let's do it. First email this week comes in from Matt.
What's up, Matt?
Says, as a preface to this email, now that I've finished it, I have to apologize for its length. I felt that I couldn't just say thanks and that be it. I won't be offended if you don't read this one all the way through or even at all. In the end, I just wanted to say thank you. But he says, Dear Josh and Matt, happy belated birthday, and what a fun 1-year birthday it was. It was nice to hear both of your thoughts on what this podcast means to you. Surely this project may have started as a self-serving way to get Josh to read the books, but instead you have created a place for people of all ages and from all edges of the world to sit back and enjoy a common love of Harry Potter. That is pretty epic. For me, it's been a great way to make my 45-minute commute a little more tolerable. Thanks for everything you both put into this great podcast. Like I said, the birthday show was great, although I was bummed that I was only able to listen to the live stream for about half an hour. I'm an East Coaster with an early bedtime. Mm-hmm. I went to bed thinking that because you were doing back-to-back shows, the Butterbeer Banter show would be posted later in the week, and I was going to have to wait until Thursday or later to hear the rest. However, I was completely surprised to see a notification in the morning that there was a new show in my feed.
Ta-da!
What a great way to wake up and fill the gap until Wednesday morning's regular release. To tell you the truth, I was happy with just that. Then you both pulled out all the stops when it came to the giveaways. I will admit, I never started following this podcast in hopes of winning something. I follow this podcast because I love listening to the both of you. There is a genuine camaraderie and that the two of you share. It was this camaraderie that I first heard in the Toys for Games podcast during Matt's guest appearances, and I followed you both to here a year ago when you started this wonderful podcast. But getting back to the winning something, I will admit it doesn't hurt. And just let me say to both of you that you totally made both of my kids millennium. When you called out my name, and he says I was close on the pronunciation. His last name, I believe I pronounced it Aberly.
Okay.
He said it rhymes with neighborly, so I guess it's Aberly.
Oh, okay.
It's close.
Close.
All right.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It's like I was like, cool. I was not familiar with the Case of the Beast book. That's the one he won.
Right.
Until I checked it out online. So it just so happens that both my kids are Potter fans, but they're bigger Beasts fans. This book, which I will keep a surprise, is going to make them flip when they get it.
Nice.
Who knew that two people that one has never met could make such a difference every week in one's life in such a positive way? With heartfelt thanks, I applaud you both.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you indeed. Next email then comes from Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
Just a short one here. It says, I just got home from work and I started the most recent release of the podcast. Josh said that maybe people didn't send in the giant squid pop figure for the suggestion for the giveaway last week because maybe everyone assumed that that's what everyone would send in. And that's exactly what happened to me.
Yes,
I was going to send in that suggestion for a giant squid Funko, yet I didn't because I figured everyone else would. I fail. And yeah,
guys.
We got a ton of more entries than usual in our giveaway, and managed to get no one suggesting it. So
yep. I know you guys too well.
Yeah.
Busted.
Next email from Rihanna.
Hi, Rihanna.
Says, hey guys, sad I missed the live show. I was in Vegas with my boss that weekend. Trust me, I'd rather be sitting listening to you guys.
Hold up. I have so many questions. Business or pleasure?
Couldn't tell you.
Like, if it's a work trip, what kind of work would take you to Las Vegas?
I was gonna say it sounds like a work trip.
Yeah.
I know some places just have like their conventions there.
That's true. That's true. There are a lot of conventions in Vegas.
Yeah.
I just don't think you could enjoy that city while having to hang out with your boss.
Well, that's why she didn't. She would have rather been listening to us instead of on a trip with her boss.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, continue.
Says also, I'm from Washington, not DC.
Right. The best Washington.
So Washington State. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And I think both of you guys have distinct accents.
What?
I've always been asked by people if I'm from the East Coast, though. Asked by people if I'm from the East, though. Some say the East Coast. Some have gone as far as saying I'm from Europe, even though I'm born and raised in Washington. With my job, I meet people from all over the world because I work in a tourist shop and a tourist town. So just the thought, I'm not sure there's such a thing as a neutral accent, because that in itself is an accent, which I understand. But
sure.
Yeah, I still like to think that I don't have an accent. I'm going to stand by that. Thanks. It's my little bit of Luna popping out.
Yeah.
Moving on. Josh, how do you feel about Zacharias Smith being a Hufflepuff?
Questionable.
He's not a very enjoyable character, but I suppose if he was good friends with Cedric, he has the right to be a little jaded that Cedric died and Harry lived.
Yeah.
Fred and George's commentary to Zach was one of the best parts of this chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I'm just glad that Ernie McMillan is there to balance out Zacharias, you know?
Yep. Definitely balance there. I agree with Sirius. Hermione's reasoning for not going to Three Broomsticks is that it was too loud and crowded there. Seems like the perfect way not to be overheard, or at least to ensure if someone overhears, it's a very small snippet rather than the entire discussion. Yeah. Like, Hermione did her best to logic that one out.
I gotta give Hermione credit, though, because as we've seen at the Three Broomsticks, like, that's where all the professors hang out, and people in positions of authority.
And I mean, to be perfectly honest, like, with the crowd that they had, like, if it had been like 3 or 4 people, the Three Broomsticks probably would have been better. Yeah. But when the like 25 plus people showed up, like, you get a group like that, even in a busy place like the Three Broomsticks, like, your group is going to stand out. Like, why is everybody sitting, facing, and just listening to Harry Potter?
Right, yeah.
Like, they're all going to stop what they're doing and look over and listen to Harry Potter, too. Yep. Like, I mean, I think it worked out better that way, even though, I mean, yeah, someone still did overhear them and report to other people. But it... Yeah,
I can't fault her.
Yeah, like she did the best she could. Like, she thought she covered all her bases. She made the most logical decision she could. Maybe it wasn't the most street smart, I guess. Right. But it worked for the most part. Yep. Question: why can't they have their first meeting in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom?
Because that's nobody goes. Prefix. Oh, wait, no.
Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. Yeah. Nobody goes in there, and apparently she loves Harry. I think she'd keep a secret.
No. She would rat them out so quick.
All right. Furthermore, if they heard someone coming, Harry could open the Chamber of Secrets as a hiding place. Heck, why can't they have practice in the chamber itself? Nobody else in the school knows how to say open in Parseltongue, except maybe Crookshanks. Hermione. A woman with so much brains is a dangerous thing sometimes. Jinxing the paper and not telling them, she's got a dark side there.
I feel like her summer with the Order has kind of rubbed off on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picked up a few ideas from Fred, George, Dung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just how to protect yourself at all costs,
Also true, yes. Watch your back.
Yep.
Poor Mrs. Weasley. I don't think Ron took her advice very seriously. An interesting thought was brought up as to whether it was worth it to get expelled so they could learn to defend themselves. And Sirius said it's better to be able to defend yourself than stay in school. But if they snap your wand when you get expelled, wouldn't that get rid of 99% of the defenses they're learning?
Well, they could just get new wands, right?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Most of them. Harry could afford a new wand at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they snap your wand, but yet it doesn't necessarily... I mean, they snapped Hagrid's wand. Doesn't stop him from doing magic.
Not at all.
Yeah. Good thoughts, but they'll find a way around it.
Yeah. Worth the risk.
Next email from Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
She says, hey, Josh and Matt. Josh, I hope you managed that awesome cake all right. It was truly a beauty.
Thank you.
I think we covered the cake, unfortunately. Yeah. These chapters have reminded me why Order of the Phoenix is my favorite book. After the Dementor attack, the Ministry hearing, Caps Lock Harry, so many people not believing Dumbledore, and everything with Umbridge, we get to see the satisfying glimmer of hope that only rebellion can bring. That's all I have to say this week. Josh, I hope you enjoy what is to come.
Boy, I did not catch that glimmer of hope anywhere. I might have fallen asleep during that glimmer.
Sad day.
Caps Lock Harry. So
yeah.
Man. I think it's only funny to me because I didn't read it. So, I went this whole time.
Yes. It was so long before you understood why everybody referenced Caps Lock Harry.
Yeah. That's the best.
Yeah. That was a good week. Next email from Kim.
Hi, Kim.
So, she has a few things to say. We may have made some comments about New Zealand last week.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't think New Zealand's ever come up on this podcast.
Oh, boy. She says, hi, Matt and Josh. Number one Harry Potter podcasters in New Zealand. Or you were until one of the hosts insulted my national team and possibly my national identity.
Matt, how could you?
Thanks, Matt, for explaining what the Astros were. I think Alex was watching or I was thinking Alex was watching or playing some weird computer game.
Well, it's also possibly true.
Yeah. Says, I can forgive you, Matt, for not being sure if the All Blacks were the New Zealand or Australian rugby team. For the record, the All Blacks are the New Zealand team and the current World Cup holders. My Trans-Tasman headmistress team is called the Wallabies. That's apparently the Australian team.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I was going to say the Wallabies don't sound that intimidating to me.
That just makes me think of Rocco's Modern Life, so.
Okay. However, Josh, you can't be forgiven for saying it's all the same, implying Australia and New Zealand are the same place. I was going to send you a howler, but my last letter took 6 weeks to get to you. So we'll have to go into all shouty caps on you instead and make a list. I'm not going to shout this at you for the sake of everyone's eardrums,
sure.
But let it be known this is in all caps Kim.
Okay. This is, all caps Kim.
Are you kidding me, Josh? The best way to insult a New Zealander is to imply that we are part of Australia. 1, we are a separate country, not the 7th state of Australia. 2,
hold on. Stop.
Yes.
There's states in Australia? I thought it was just one big place.
No.
I didn't know it was separated into states.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't.
What like I guess I've usually referred to them as like territories or something like that, but yeah, it's definitely broken up.
I think what throws me off with Australia is it's a continent and also a country.
Yeah, that's weird enough already. Yes.
Okay, sorry, continue. Sorry, shouty caps, Kim.
2, we have our own time zone. In the Butterbeer Banter episode, Josh wondered if the time zone was the same or not. It's not.
Okay.
3, we have a giant squid, although it's dead in a museum. 4, we have the better team. 5, we have the better accent. And
Shots fired. I don't know why she's yelling at me. Like, this feels like an attack on Australia.
Well, you said they were the same thing.
I mean,
She's telling you they're not.
I'm a dumb American. What am I supposed to know?
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like she's just throwing shade at Australia. I think Mel B is going to have a retaliation email come next week. Like, this beef is starting, and I'm just going to be sitting back laughing at both of them.
Stirring the pot.
Yeah.
Caps lock off now.
Okay.
She says, I do know what baseball is, and Matt, no, you definitely can't compare it to cricket. Full disclosure, I follow our national cricket team, the Black Caps, more than I do the All Blacks. I don't know what it is with black and their team names.
Yeah,
but
what's up with that, New Zealand?
Yeah. I also have to concede that Melby has currently got the better cricket team.
Mm-hmm.
But this isn't a sports podcast, but a Harry Potter podcast. And in the spirit of international magic cooperation, I'll move on to this week's chapters.
I think New Zealand just is dark and is trying too hard to be dark and brooding.
They're the
New Zealand is the emo teenagers of the world.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hermione is treading a fine line with Umbridge in class. She desperately wants to start this group, but can't quite bring herself to break any rules. I laughed at her triple checking all the rules and even consulting Professor Flitwick. She has to make sure it's a proper meeting and insists on recording the members. Hermione is like that school fundraiser committee member that you admire because she knows all the rules and history of the committee, but you cross the playground if you see her coming because she may sign you up for something you don't want to do.
Spew.
Yep, perfect example. We get more inner thoughts from Harry about this blossoming relationship with Cho, but it's Ron's inner dialogue that I'd like to hear. He seems to have no filter when it comes to Ginny, and not very subtle when Crumb comes up in conversation. It's very true.
Yeah, he's also very direct with Cho.
Yeah, he has been. But again, the twins steal the show in these chapters. I laughed out loud every time I read about the disappearing vomit. I would definitely like to know what this probe is that they bought from Zonko's.
Matt, you should have filtered this out of all emails this week.
I don't think it's in too many. Lastly, thanks, Josh, for letting us know that your Hogwarts letter has arrived. My youngest has been asking every week if the Muggle man in America, as she calls you, had got the letter. They have never been to America, but seem to know more about your president than our prime minister.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's not a compliment to anything. That's... Yep, okay.
My daughter saw Washington in your address and asked me if you lived close to Trump. I had to explain that there was more than one Washington.
I'm as far away from him as I could possibly be.
Pretty close, without moving
country.
to, like,
Yeah.
Alaska.
Right. Or Hawaii, yeah.
Yeah. Later, when I addressed your envelope, I had to admit that I double-checked the address that Matt had sent because it said Vancouver, and I thought Vancouver was in Canada.
Okay, let's clear this up right now.
But then I thought, America, Canada, all the same, right?
Wow, Kim. Wow. I wish we could say we're all the same as Canada right now. For the international listeners out there, Vancouver, Washington is the original, the OG Vancouver.
Is it now?
It is the first Vancouver.
You should change your name to Vancouver 1.
Yeah, we should be. We're Vancouver Prime. British Columbia decided that they liked the name of Vancouver, and they adopted it as well. Vancouver, BC is a much bigger city. It is
And I think that's why people get confused.
Yeah.
The Canadian one is that much bigger.
Yeah, I think it also, I'm not sure with capitals, but I feel like it's the capital of British Columbia, but I could be completely wrong with that one. It's definitely the most prominent city in British Columbia, which is one of the, not states, provinces of Canada?
Yes, they have provinces.
Yes. My little Vancouver, Washington, is a smaller city than the Vancouver, British Columbia, but we are pretty much considered like a suburb of Portland, Oregon, which is a fairly big city. We're just across the bridge. While we are different states, like the overflow and cross-pollination between the two is pretty heavy. So there you go. We're the first in Vancouver.
So just to clarify a few numbers, because I love Wiki for this fact that it's so easy to look up.
Yeah.
So first of all, Vancouver is not the capital. It's Victoria.
Ah, beautiful Victoria.
But yes, Vancouver is the largest city in British Columbia.
Okay.
And just as a size comparison, as of 2015, the estimated population of Vancouver, Washington is about 172,000.
Yeah.
In 2016, Vancouver, British Columbia had upwards of 4.6 million.
Yeah.
So, yeah, much, much larger, but yeah, not the same.
Nope, not the first.
It's all that matters, I guess. Next episode, next email.
Whoa, next episode.
Email.
Wow.
Oof.
Just moving right along.
Yeah. Coming from Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Says, hey, Matt and Josh. To continue our conversation about Snape and teaching, I see McGonagall more as an example of tough love done successfully. She's often stern and can even be a little harsh, but she's also surprisingly kind sometimes and never cruel. In contrast, Snape purposely humiliates and bullies his students. That's the thing I really just can't get past, if you couldn't tell. An adult in the position of power over children should never treat them like Snape does, and to me, it says a lot about his character that he does. In regards to Slytherins, I think Josh is well within his rights to view the book Slytherins like he does. The Sorting Hat may have characterized them as cunning and ambitious, but one of their most defining traits so far has really been wizarding racism. I think that you could have a meta discussion about whether it was fair of J.K. to write pretty much all the Slytherins this way, but we're only halfway through the story, and after all, Slytherin himself was the one originally obsessed with pure blood supremacy. Anyway, I think Josh has made it pretty clear that he doesn't think people who are sorted into Slytherin in real life are evil bigots or anything like that. As for this week's chapters, I think my favorite part is the image of Grubbly Plank chilling in the teacher's lounge, smoking a pipe and reading the newspaper. And she has a monocle. Even though I miss Hagrid, she's been an enjoyable replacement. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Yeah, very well put. Yeah. Next email then looks like comes from Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Says, hey guys. Well, judging by Josh's notes, this week should be fun to talk about and listen to. I really did not want to stop reading at this spot this week, but can't wait for next week to continue. As a teacher, I simply love that these kids are forming this group. They decided that they were not getting what they needed to learn in class, figured out a solution to the problem, and they're carrying out that solution independently. Definitely something that I wish my students would do, and something that I try to teach them to do so they do not become dependent on only what the teacher says, but instead seek out knowledge for themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's a hard skill to teach, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's hard to teach independence.
Yeah.
Like,
how do you teach somebody to not be taught?
Help you. Yeah. No. It says Malfoy is horrible. Snape is horrible. Umbridge is horrible. I'm so proud of Neville for standing up for himself against Malfoy, or at least trying to.
Yeah.
Kudos to Harry for still holding on to Neville's secret, though. Yes, Harry should have paid more attention to his potion, than the evaluation of Umbridge, but he did not deserve that for his work. Did not deserve for his work to be completely erased like that. And finally, Umbridge is power crazy and way too controlling for her own good. She better be careful how much she pushes this power. She might just push too far.
Yeah, that just means somebody needs to push back, though, and I don't know
who's that going to be
pushing back. Yeah,
time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
Next email then from one of our headmistresses, Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
Says,
how's the job going, Marissa? How are we doing?
That'd be a good question. I haven't heard any complaints so far.
Okay.
We haven't gotten any new podcast decrees yet. So.
Okay, perfect.
I never understood why Hermione has such an aversion to Voldy's name. She was brought up by Muggles and wouldn't have been raised to fear the name. So why does she stumble over it once she starts using it? I understand those from wizarding families. They were probably told the name once and heard all the horrible things he did, and the parents told them not to use the name because of all the chaos he caused. But it doesn't make sense for Muggleborns. Got any thoughts on that one?
I mean, he wasn't just killing wizards and witches, though. Right?
I mean, I think he was probably targeting them,
sure,
but didn't really care if Muggles got in the way.
Yeah. So I think, like, his complete lack of caring at all for Muggle life, like, would be enough to, like, okay, this is a bad dude who's running roughshod on wizards and witches and the magical world as it is, but, like, any collateral damage that goes with it, like, he's not even having any second thoughts about at all.
But I think her biggest point, though, is would Hermione, growing up in a Muggle household, have known the name?
I would think she would know it, yeah, because, I mean, she was still...
during the first 11 years of her life before she got to Hogwarts?
Yeah.
Before she started reading about magic?
I feel like she was still involved with... I mean, did she find out that she was magical once she got the letter to Hogwarts? Like, was that her first indication that she... I don't feel like she just started learning about the magical world the moment she got her letter. That doesn't strike me as a Hermione thing at all. Her parents would have had to have known that she had magical abilities, right?
Not necessarily.
Really?
I think for a lot of people, with that letter at age 11 is the first they hear about it, especially in a Muggle family. I think that's why Muggleborns are so kind of out of left field like that.
But, like, the transition for her seems pretty flawless. Like, there wasn't any hiccups.
I mean, once she got that letter, then she was definitely reading everything she could get her hands on.
Yeah.
But up until that, I mean, that gave her, probably like a month or so? Maybe 2 months? I don't remember when... Well, Harry got his birthday... Well, they get their letter on their 11th birthday, or at least Harry did.
Right.
And we determined her birthday is earlier in the year.
Uh-huh.
So she could have had a longer time to read even.
Still, though, I don't know. I don't know the full family heritage of the Grangers. I mean, you guys might, for all I know, but, like, it just doesn't seem like she just found out about her magical abilities the day she got her letter. It just... Hermione feels like the type of person who knew before even she was supposed to know. If that makes sense. I don't know. You guys
I know what you're saying. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, how much we know, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, we'll take it for now.
I get the point that Marissa's trying to make, though.
Yeah.
I understand.
Almost always possible to distinguish between the hats and the socks. Poor Hermione and her indistinguishable elfwear. At least she's getting better at it, and making more than just hats.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only so many hats you can wear.
But where's it going?
That we don't know. Don't know. They're disappearing, that's for sure. Maybe someone's throwing them in the fire. Hermione had to shoot down Ron because he forgot about his responsibilities. Well, he's only 15.
Yeah.
Boys mature slower than girls, so it's probably good that Hermione is there to rein him in. More Ravenclaws, and they want to be part of this rebellious group. Solidarity.
Bring it on.
I don't like this Zacharias Smith character one bit. He's not at all how most Hufflepuffs are portrayed that we've seen thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely talked about that. Also, let us show that all the fifth-year prefects from each house, except Slytherin, showed up for this meeting. It speaks volumes.
It's weird because, like, on one hand, it's like they're kind of, going against what they're supposed to, going against, like, the role model examples that they're supposed to be as prefects. But on the other hand, they're showing the leadership that comes with being a prefect.
Yeah, you can look at it that way, too. But one of the points they brought up when Hermione was talking right away, he said, like, oh, you just want to pass your owl.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, makes sense for all of them.
Sure, yeah.
Any of the fifth years in particular.
Right.
I think we're going to see more fifth years because, yeah, you want to pass your owl. They've been emphasizing this is such a big year for your owls.
Right.
And if you want to pass this one, you're obviously not going to do it with what Umbridge is teaching you.
No. Or not.
So, of course, they're going to be interested. Yeah. Ernie, you are so fun. Had been expecting to speak long before this. Yeah. Harry had been expecting him to speak long before this.
Yeah.
I see in the notes that Josh is worried about Ernie going astray. I know he worries about his own.
I do.
You do worry about your Hufflepuffs.
Mm-hmm. Also, we're just getting into territory where I don't feel like I could trust anybody, so...
That's true. Yeah, you're questioning all your Hufflepuffs, too, as much as you want to. Yeah. Luna is a queen. I love her, as I said on a number of occasions. She's just so much of a free spirit, I can't get over it. She almost throws down with Hermione here. I think I'd love to back Luna in a fight. And young love. That's what was written before. That's what I had written before reading Josh's notes. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks Umbridge knows something. She loves that the girls' dorms stairs turn into a slide.
Yep.
Does Josh remember Eloise from the last book?
Eloise?
Yep.
The name doesn't sound familiar at all.
So she was mentioned in this chapter when Hermione was talking about jinxing the parchment.
Mm-hmm.
And said something to the effect that, like, it would make Eloise look good, or...
Oh, her acne.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make her acne look like just freckles, a couple freckles or something.
Yep. So, yeah, Eloise is the one that was trying to curse her acne off.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
for the ball, right?
Yeah. Also, Hermione got mad at Ron for saying that Eloise would be the last resort for the Yule Ball.
Yeah.
And commented that her nose was off-center.
Right.
Yeah.
But then here's Hermione kind of throwing shade at her acne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I get it.
Poor Hedwig. Bet Josh wasn't very happy that someone hurt her.
No.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Go Neville. Think we're all on board there.
Yeah.
And Umbridge versus Snape for the worst teacher in Hogwarts championship.
Currently. I mean, like, this year. There's other contenders that I feel like are more deserving of this battle royale, but we shall not name those awful, awful people. All
right. And then it looks like our headmistress does have her first decree, actually.
Oh, boy. Okay.
She says, I will keep reminding you, but Josh is not allowed to go on social media on September 1st.
What? Why this date?
Says, Matt, you know why he can't, he mustn't.
Oh, goodness gracious. Good news, everybody. That day, I am going to be going to a wedding. I will be traveling to the wedding. I will be at the wedding. There will probably be alcoholic beverages at said wedding. There will be a lot of partying it up and rubbing elbows type of situation. Social media will be the farthest thing from my mind on that day.
All right.
So.
No, that's good to hear.
But now I'm kind of...
Of course you're curious. I understand.
Can you just tell me why I can't go on it?
It's a special day.
Oh, whose birthday is it?
Can't tell you. Can't tell you anything.
All right.
Not yet.
Okay.
All right, next email. We got a twofer from our friend Brent,
Hi, Brent.
who likes to send us presents.
Yes, he does.
Says, Dear Josh and Matt, sorry for missing out on the last couple of weeks. As you guys know, I have my own podcast, which covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And since the starting of training camp, with the Bucs being on Hard Knocks, that's all. Yeah, the Bucs are on Hard Knocks this year.
Right. Yeah.
That's all I've been able to focus on. Right. Any Bucs fans out there, please join me at the Pewtercast. I don't mind giving them a little plug there.
Not at all.
He says, and Matt, I'm trying to make it to Green Bay this year when the Bucs come to town. So maybe we can grab a butterbeer or something. I'm going to have to look into that. And I'll put this out there now. If we make it happen, I believe this is on... Well, the game is on December 3rd. So I'm going to have to see what his schedule looks like, if he gets up here, if he's here just for that day or what's going on. But
yeah.
I'm thinking if I can make it happen, we might make it into some kind of meetup if anybody else can meet us out there.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I know we've met a few people from Eau Claire in my area and a few people from down south, Madison, Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've actually had anyone directly from Green Bay, but anyone who wants to travel and join us, or anybody that's actually from Green Bay that I haven't talked to, yeah, we'll see what we can set up.
Sure.
I can't guarantee anything at this point, but
stay tuned.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It says back to the birthday episode. I didn't forget to write in for that one, but if I would have, what I would have said is that I came across your podcast last year while you were in the middle of that first week. To be honest, I had been looking to start another podcast and had been thinking about doing a Harry Potter one. So I was seeing what was already out there. I checked out a handful of those non-existent ones and then found yours. And the thought was, shoot, there goes that idea. Those two jokers are already doing it, and dadgummit, they're doing it pretty flargin' well. He says that's an exact quote, not an edited one.
Oh, I need to learn how to work that into my everyday vocab. Flargin'.
There you go. What I didn't expect in the beginning, listening to this podcast, like most people, including you guys, was the community that has developed. I don't know any of you people, and I've never met you, but I feel like I know you. And if we ever do meet, that is us meet, it would be more like meeting old friends than new ones. That feeling is especially fresh for me right now, as I've just recently had the chance to meet a lot of people from my football podcast that are either listeners to the show or guests that I've had on, and people that I interact with on social media. It's truly like meeting old friends. I hope to be able to meet not just Matt and Josh, but some of the other listeners as well. This week, you should both have received a little something in the mail, as we talked about at the top of the show, obviously. I know Josh is probably thinking, geez, Brent sends stuff but never includes note.
That thought actually did cross my mind.
Suffice it to say, please consider them both birthday presents from me to you. Matt, it's something you mentioned not having and needing to get, and Josh, just a couple of fun trinkets that I saw and thought of you. And yes, I'm fully aware that you've even given one of them away as prize. But to be fair, I had that for you well before you gave that one away.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Then he sent a second email about this week's podcast, this week's show.
Yeah.
Says, okay, some thoughts on the recent episode. I told you I'd still been listening. There was quite a bit made last week about how to properly pronounce words. Some have written to give you the way Jim Dale pronounces them. However, as an avid Jim Dale fan, and basically an audiobook-only reader, even I have to admit that dear old Jim can't really be trusted when it comes to proper pronunciation. It's almost like they never ran any of this by J.K. and just let him roll. However, I have noticed that in my many run-throughs of the audiobooks, the pronunciations often change. Perhaps the most noticeable one to me is how he pronounces Hagrid's first name. So, okay, Josh, what is Hagrid's first name?
Exactly how you're saying it. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, that's not his first name.
Yeah, that's his last name.
Boy, I'm drawing a blank here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say Rubius.
Rubius, right.
Yes.
Okay.
So apparently Jim Dale says Rubeus.
Oh, no.
As opposed to Rubius, as they say in the movies.
Oh, that makes my skin crawl.
My point is this. Don't trust Jim's pronunciation. But I will still go with him on a K-N-U-T being pronounced Knut.
Okay.
Speaking of pronunciation, Jim Dale will spell out the name of the tests, OWLs, like we would say SATs, instead of SATs. However, in the movies, they actually do both. At one point, Hermione spells them out, and at another point, McGonagall says the acronym word. So, either way.
Huh, okay, good to know.
Yeah. In answer to Josh's question of why we don't celebrate Neville's birthday, I'll simply say this. None of the books are called Neville Longbottom and the fill in the blank. Hashtag enough said.
Not until I write my fanfic.
We're waiting for it. I told you, we'll read it. We'll cover it on this podcast if you write it.
It's going to be him learning about all these weird little plants.
I'll read it, like I said.
Like the Chinese red cabbage or fire cabbage or what was it?
Chomping cabbage.
Chomping cabbage, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, let's talk about Dumbledore's track record in hiring good quality teachers. I don't mean like teachers we like or don't like. I mean teachers that are actually good at teaching. Let's face it, it's not exactly his strong suit. Let's take out the Defense Against Dark Arts teachers that are as that particular subject is kind of an anomaly. It's the good quality teacher. In the good quality teacher list, that might include McGonagall,
mm-hmm.
Sprout,
yep,
Flitwick,
yep,
and Snape. I know you're going to question that one, but see, they're all seem like capable instructors.
Okay.
But on the other hand, let's look at the list of people who clearly are not good teachers. Trelawney, Hagrid, he says sorry, and Binns. So he's slightly better than 50%.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the teachers we know.
Yeah.
There's a whole network of teachers at Hogwarts that we have never even been introduced to.
I mean, extrapolate a little bit.
All right. 50%. I feel like his percentage should be higher. I don't feel like that's an acceptable record for a headmaster at Hogwarts.
50% is a failing grade, right?
In America, it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to this week's reading. Oh, crap. I haven't done that yet. No big deal. I got plenty of time, because y'all moved the stinking release date.
Every week, Brent. Every week.
Fair enough. Next email comes from the other Katie.
Other Katie. What's up, other Katie?
She says, Aloha, Matt and Josh. I missed sending an email last week, and I'm running this week, so I'll try to keep my thoughts short in an effort to get this to you on time. She may have the longest email of the week. With regards to last week's episode, 5 years ago, I would have agreed with Josh and said he didn't have an accent. I grew up in Washington. So many people from Washington. I grew up in Washington State and never realized that I had an accent until I moved to Hawaii, and people kept asking me where I was from. Apparently, I sounded like I was Canadian. Now when I visit family from Oregon and Washington, I can hear the accent, and they always tease me about the accent that I've apparently picked up while living out there in Hawaii.
I mean, if you live in northern Washington, I mean, you're pretty close to Canada.
Do you know anybody from northern Washington, or do you ever visit northern Washington?
I don't go past Seattle.
Okay. I was just wondering if you heard a difference in accent just going north.
Yeah, slightly, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Again, I didn't grow up in Washington, though. I grew up in Southern California, folks.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Wonder how that affected your accent.
Yeah.
All right. Percy continues to anger me. He reminds me of people who fall for email scams and are angry when someone tries to explain why that they believe it's a scam. Percy believes in the scams of the ministry is pushing and gets angry when his dad and the rest of the family try to prove that he's falling for it. It's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Now on to this week's chapters. The Hog's Head is one of my favorite chapters. So many returning characters finally have speaking moments. Notable favorites, for better or worse, include Susan Bones, Ernie Macmillan, Zachariah Smith, and Ginny Weasley. I like that Harry thinks Dementors are in the pub for a quick second. What if Dementors were just hanging out in the Hog's Head for a fun night out on the town? Even soul-sucking prison guards need some free time. I don't know if I'd agree with that, but...
Yeah, that's frightening.
I'm incredibly proud of Hermione for choosing to say Voldemort. She's consciously choosing to say it, and not just to Harry, but to everyone she's talking to. That takes guts in a world where his name is feared from birth. Hermione and Ernie would make a good team. He's so pompous, and he's so pompous and she's so humble when it comes to her smarts that they would balance each other out. Maybe when they're older, Hermione can be Minister of Magic and Ernie can be her Deputy Minister. That would be an interesting team, yeah.
Sure. As long as he stays on the straight and narrow path here.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Luna arguing about her belief in absurd creatures is a great moment. She knows what she believes and doesn't back down, which is one of many reasons she's my favorite character.
Yeah.
Why is Cho's friend even at this meeting? She clearly doesn't want to be involved with the group. It's a very good question. Yeah. Why is she here?
Cho
Because Cho couldn't come by herself.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they're different years, but like even Cho and Luna, at least the same house, they could have come together or something like that.
Yeah.
Who knows? Ron is both the best and worst of older brothers. Would Ron be more accepting of Ginny's crushes and relationships if she did still like Harry? Regardless, I really love all the teenage romance in this chapter. It reminds me of my own, sometimes very embarrassing, crushes and relationships as a teen. Yeah, it's all too familiar sometimes.
Yeah.
Banning people from meeting in larger groups than 3 seems like the kind of thing put in place by people in power who fear those that they rule.
Dictators.
Yep. If that's the case here, what are Umbridge and the Ministry afraid of? Kids practicing defense against dark arts shouldn't be threatening to grown witches and wizards, right?
Unless
you wouldn't think so.
Thestrals by their side.
They don't attack the owls.
I don't know.
Making stuff up now.
You
don't even know if they exist.
I'm just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks, Matt.
All right. She also loves that the stairs to the girls' dormitory won't let the boys up. But doesn't it defeat the purpose if the girls are still allowed to get up to the boys' dorm?
Nope. Boys can't be trusted.
Exactly. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sure.
Which is baloney. I don't even know why anybody would ever suggest something like that, but I digress.
Hermione is incredibly forward-thinking, and she's such an incredibly skilled witch. How many students in 5th year could enchant a piece of paper to know which person sold out their group, and then leave a physical mark on that person? It's very true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that might be better magic than the stairs turning into a slide when they sense a boy.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. I wonder how well inter-house relationships work out. It must take some extra effort to find the time to hang out with someone from a different house outside of classes, especially if you can't hang out in the common room of another house.
Oh, you can't, can you?
No, not
Do
really.
they have, I mean, other than like the dining hall, do they have like non-house specific common areas?
Outside.
Yeah.
That's why they're always by the lake.
Man, that would be tough when the weather gets rough, though.
I guess a hallway, an empty classroom, whatever. But I got there's not really necessarily a. I mean,
bathroom.
like even in the Great Hall, like they're separated by tables.
Yeah.
They don't swap places there, really.
But I mean, like, are you free to go into the Great Hall, like, even when there's no food? Like, could you just, like, go sit at a table?
I think so.
I mean, it's not, like, off limits or anything.
No, I mean, they're not really using it for anything else,
So, like, when you did have downtime, I mean, you could just go hang out at a table. Like, you're not, like, forced to sit at your house table.
Yeah.
Just when you're eating.
That could work.
Yeah.
If no students showed up to History of Magic, do you think Professor Binns would notice? Or would he just keep on going, giving his lectures to an empty room?
He would keep on going.
Agreed.
Yeah.
These gargoyles have some major attitude, and I seriously love Professor McGonagall and Grubbly-Plank in this scene. 3 cheers for good professors willing to take care of poor Hedwig.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Oh, Neville, I feel for him so much. Bullying is terrible, and Malfoy takes it way beyond normal bullying to another level. I'm sure he knows what happens to Neville's parents. Mr. Malfoy probably brags about all the horrible things he and the other Death Eaters have done. We, the readers, and Harry understand why Neville is so upset, but none of the other students do, which somehow makes this scene worse.
Yeah.
You can't decide which is better, Umbridge in Snape's class or Umbridge in McGonagall's class. They're both fantastic scenes. I would agree.
Mm-hmm. Good for different reasons.
Also true. Harry's eavesdropping always gets him in trouble. You'd think he'd learn eventually, but no. But we do learn a lot when he does. It's one thing to know that Snape really wants the Defense Against Dark Arts position, and another to know that he actively applies for it year after year. I think you've kind of asked about that before. It's like,
yeah.
Does Dumbledore just, not hire him? Or, like, does he put in his updated resume every year? It's like, yeah, he admitted to applying for it every year. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I hate Umbridge. She's worse than Voldemort. She clearly knew Sirius was going to be in the fire at that time. But if all the note said was same time, same place, how did she know what that meant?
I'm telling you, man, snitches. She has little birdies around Hogwarts reporting back to her on all things. I don't know. This woman is baffling in so many ways.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Email from our other headmistress, Mel B.
What up, Mel B?
Says, hey guys, first of all, you had questioned this in your notes. Fortnite?
Oh, yeah.
Do you really not know what a fortnight is?
No clue.
Wow. I knew that one.
Really?
Yeah. I honestly, for the life of me, don't know why the term exists and why anyone would use it in a normal, everyday speech.
Okay.
But a fortnight is 2 weeks.
Like solid 2 weeks? 14 days and nights?
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks, 14 days.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's like
But-
non-negotiable. Like that's standard.
Yeah. Fortnight is 2 weeks.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mel says I always forget that Americans don't use that term.
No.
Which is true. But now I'm curious. Do Australians, do Brits, do you actually use the term fortnight? Like, I'll be there in a fortnight, or we're going on vacation in a fortnight, or we're going... where do you use this?
Right.
Like,
Just because the
I
term
mean-
exists, does it actually... Is there a use for it?
yeah, like why is that? And I guess why is that any better than saying 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Because it's obviously like I have to assume that fortnight came after the measure of weeks.
Right.
Like, I don't think they said, broke the fortnight down into weeks.
What's half a fortnight? A week. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, like, I just don't understand where people would actually use that. So, if you do, let me know.
Yeah.
If you've used this word in the past month, give me an example of your sentence. I'd love to hear where you actually use that.
Right.
It says the meeting was highly successful, which is good news for our heroes, right? I really love the range of students who all showed up eager for Harry to teach them.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Umbridge has to find out and try to put an end to it, banning all student-run activities. But as if that's going to stop Harry Potter. Personally, I would have someone who wouldn't raise suspicion go to Umbridge and have the club established under false pretenses. Send Luna in. She can tell Umbridge she's teaching classes on rare magical creatures. Then she can list all the creatures she believes in and no one else does. Instead, the club is going to have to operate in complete secrecy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be an interesting plan. See if she would let that club go. It's like, yes, you can teach them about these creatures that don't exist.
You weirdo, get out of here.
Umbridge's hand in the fireplace is heart-stopping. Sirius was right there.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait to hear Josh's predictions and thoughts this week.
Man, I wish I had some good predictions. I'm sorry.
Maybe,
I'm sorry,
maybe they'll
Melby.
be coming.
Maybe.
Let it roll around for a while.
Yeah.
Next email from Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Says, hey guys, just got back from my niece's 5th birthday party.
Ooh.
I will be giving her Sorcerer's Stone in a few years, and I hope she becomes a Potter nerd like me. Quick confession, I did not have time to reread the chapters for this week, so I'm hoping I don't accidentally spoil anything that happens later.
Oh, boy. Matt,
Yes,
be on alert.
I know.
Okay.
I love the idea of Harry teaching defense, and for the first time, we encounter a wholly unpleasant Hufflepuff. I was talking to my friend Lydia, the Ravenclaw, about this, and we decided that Zacharias Smith is a Hufflepuff because of his loyalty to the belief that Voldemort has not returned.
That seems like a stretch.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. He's loyal to something, I guess. But, yeah, it's just the wrong thing. I mean, how do you judge? Do you have to be loyal to the right thing all the time? What if there isn't a right answer?
Sure.
She says he will believe this one just because it's what the ministry says, and 2, it's easier to believe things that will stay the way they are than to accept that they could change for the worst. Hope this makes sense. I'm jotting things down here between classes. Also, Ginny imitating Umbridge is great.
I forgot
All right.
about that. That was
Yeah. Gotta go to class now. Bye. Next email then comes from Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Says, hey guys, sorry for the late email. Totally lost track of time. Maybe I'll challenge Alex for the last spot this week. But he's still probably got me beat.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the chapters. For the record, yes, Alex did still have you beat by a fairly good margin, I think. Like, I think Alex sent in right before we started recording, so...
Sounds about right.
Yeah, you had him beat by like a good 2 hours. Ron's reaction to Hermione mentioning Victor Crumb is priceless. That was a solid number of people that came out to the meeting. I hope they're all genuine about learning from Harry. The meeting went about as expected in my eyes. Harry could have gone into some detail with them about what he saw at the cemetery with Voldemort, just to give himself a little more credibility. But all in all, I'm excited for what's to come.
Yep.
I appreciate the humor in the line that the bartender was constantly wiping the glasses, but they seem to be getting dirtier. It's true. Ron's big brother syndrome is in full swing now that Ginny is dating.
Man, Ron worries about everything way too much.
He does. I mean, especially when it comes to Ginny, though.
Yeah.
Like he's protecting his little sister, and like he's the closest in age to her. So,
I mean, he did see her
makes sense.
almost die, so I guess
Also true.
Yeah.
Just when we thought Quidditch was back, Umbridge comes in and swipes it right away. Hopefully she lets Quidditch happen, though, although I don't see her making it easy for the Gryffindor team with Harry on it. Shutting down every club, though, just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I appreciate that Hogwarts has measures in place to keep the boys out of the girls' dormitories. I wonder how many times it's been used. I wonder that, too.
Not enough.
What do you think happened to Hedwig? Do you think someone purposely injured her, or did she just get hurt in a flight?
I don't think she got hurt during flight. I mean, I think whatever it was intentional. This wasn't an accident.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice to see a little fire from Neville. Can't blame him though for the remarks that Draco made. I was hoping for more fireworks between Umbridge and Snape, but then again, they're both terrible and probably have an understanding of each other. I'm surprised Sirius delivered Mrs. Weasley's message, especially considering he thought it was a good idea. And Umbridge's hand coming through the fire has to be the creepiest thing I've read.
Yeah.
I may have nightmares about that now.
Yeah, I think I made an audible shriek when I found out whose hand that was. Like, that was just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Then finally, like I said, last email.
What's up, Alex?
Dear Josh and Matt, well, another birthday has come and gone, and once again, I did not receive a letter from Hogwarts informing me I'm a wizard.
Dang it.
I guess I'll just have to cheer myself up by listening to your show. In regard to last week's topic about the Daily Prophet deliveries, you remember this?
Uh-huh, yep.
The owls?
Yep.
Yeah. I must say, I hadn't considered your idea that each Witcher Wizard's individual owl picks up their subscription. This does, however, raise more questions. Of course it does, Alex. How would the Prophet keep track of which owls belong to whom, and whether or not they have a subscription? What if the Witcher Wizard's Owls is out on delivery and is unable to pick up the paper that morning? Does the Witcher Wizard simply go without the news for that day? Also, because I have nothing better to do with my time, I crunched some numbers. The population of the UK is currently about 65.6 million people.
Okay.
Conservatively estimating that 5% of the population are magical, that gives us 3.28 million.
Okay.
Since wizards don't have TV or Twitter to get their news, let's assume a healthy 40% of those people subscribe to the Daily Prophet. That gives us a grand total of 1.31 million daily readers. That's a lot of owls.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're overestimating the print medium. Well, I guess this was back in the 90s, so...
Yeah,
print
it was
so
back in the
wide and
90s.
strong.
I will say, too, your population numbers, I would assume, are not just... It's not households, it's not just adults. That includes all children and families and stuff.
Right.
The Weasley household is not ordering 9 papers. They're ordering 1.
That's true, yep.
So I think those numbers are going to diminish a bit.
Yeah.
So if you can get me how many households and run your numbers that way, I could maybe go with it.
Yeah. Get back to us, Alex.
Thanks. Says also, Matt totally has an accent. So on to this week's chapters. things are finally starting to pick up again. I love how often you and Alex, like, you're like, these are boring chapters. Things are finally picking up again. Like,
Or I'll be excited about a chapter, and Alex is just like, this is the worst chapter of life.
Yeah, there's nothing going on this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says, and I have to say, it's about time. Between secret meetings and fiery demons and jinxed lists and romantic revelations and disbanded clubs and hurt owls and teacher evaluations and disguised mundunguses, there's a lot going on here. It's pretty good stuff, but next week is even better. That was actually typed out too, yeah.
Sure.
And because I didn't get to preview this, I don't know if I get to read that. It looks like I am not reading that this week.
Dang it. Okay.
All
right.
So that's all I have from Alex.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. Get back to us on those numbers.
Yes.
The more accurate numbers of the Daily Prophet subscribers. Thank you to everybody that wrote in emails this week.
Yeah, another good bunch.
Always a pleasure going through those. Matt, this has been a show, my friends.
It has.
Before we say goodbye, though, we do need to announce what giveaway we're going to be doing next week.
Yes. So next week, I've been still debating with myself the whole episode whether or not to even announce what the prize is.
Oh, you still want it to be a secret?
Maybe.
We could keep it secret.
Well, like I mostly want to keep it secret from you.
Okay. I can remove my headphones for a few, and I will.
Okay, yeah.
And I could give you my word that I will not listen back to this.
Oh yeah, I trust you.
Okay.
Just give me like a count to like 10 or 15 or something.
I'll give you a count of 15.
All right, sounds good.
And then I will announce when I'm returning, and then I will put my headphones back in.
Perfect.
Okay, ready, go.
All right, so this week we're giving away one of the Tales from Godric's Hollow coins. You can see a picture of this coin up on the Patreon page. Go check it out. I think you'll love it, and you'll understand why I'm doing it this week. Since Josh isn't back yet, we'll keep talking so there's not too much dead air. I heard some noise.
Okay, I am putting my headphones back in. I think
Welcome
I gave
back.
you a couple extra seconds just in case.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're good.
We have a prize.
We have a prize. I hope everybody's excited about it.
I'm hoping they will be.
Hope
I'm
everybody's
excited about it.
excited for the fact that I have no idea what's going on. That's strange. Do you have a method on how you want to give this away also?
That's your job.
I know, but usually I have something to work with, like based on what the prize is or something like that.
Do you actually base it off what the prize is?
Sometimes, if I don't have a solid idea.
Okay.
These chapters were pretty blah.
What bores you?
On a scale of 1 to I'm asleep right now, how boring were these two chapters? I'm kidding. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I want everybody to write in an email. talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. Again, please make it a separate one than your normal weekly email that goes to the show about the reading. This week, to win whatever magical, wonderful prize that Matt has up his sleeve, I want everybody, if you were the High Inquisitor, but not like in a bad way, but like I'm not asking you to be Umbridge and that awful, awful woman, but like if you just had this title of High Inquisitor, right?
Yep.
What educational decree would you bestow upon Hogwarts? As you, yourself, not, coming from the mind and cold, dead heart of Umbridge, but coming from you.
So
example.
Likely to make Hogwarts a better place.
I mean, if that's the way you're leaning, there might be some.
Like you don't have to pretend that you're in the pocket of the Ministry.
No. Example, right? I would put in a decree that one boy had to try to enter the girls' dormitory per day to activate the slide feature and make everybody have some fun.
I like it.
Example, right?
Yeah.
You could go as educational or as fun as you want to with it.
But a new decree to be put in place at Hogwarts.
Number 25.
All right.
I don't. Is there more decrees? Probably. I probably sound stupid saying that now. Decree 136.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, have fun with it.
Please write educational decree 136.
Be as detailed or as simplistic as you feel necessary to express your desire. Okay?
Sounds good.
Have those in by next week. talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com. All right. I think that will do it, Matt. Remember, next week is going to be a regular week. It'll be a normal week. But for the following week, episode 60, we do ask that you get your emails in ahead of time. So if you're going to be writing an email for episode 59, go ahead and write one for episode 60. Get your reading done now, folks. Read all 4 chapters coming up. Have fun with it. Go hog's head wild with your reading. This is my gift to you, remember. All the information will be up on talesfromgodricshollow.com, of course.
You got it.
You can find me on Twitter personally at The Noise with a Y. You could follow the show on Twitter at talesfromgh. The Instagram account is Tales from Godric's Hollow. The website, of course, is talesfromgodricshollow.com, where all the show notes and information about everything upcoming can be found. And if you'd like to support us and what we're doing here for you wonderful, amazing wizards and witches out there, like our 2 headmistresses and everybody else that is doing so, you could do exactly what they're doing in some capacity over at Patreon, patreon.com/Tales from Godric's Hollow. Matt, where can people find you at?
Well, you can always find me personally on Twitter at As a Matter of Matt. Otherwise, as we put out there a couple times already, the email address, the wonderful, wonderful email where I'm expecting, basically double emails this week.
Yeah, boy, oh boy.
For 2 separate episodes. It's going to be fun to keep separated. So it might be a good idea. I know a lot of you guys are pretty good about putting either chapter numbers or episode numbers in your subject line. Try to do that again this week. So like episode 59, episode 60, so we can keep them separated easily. But yeah, anything you want to write me, whether it's for a giveaway for the episode or just to talk, if it contains spoilers, you have questions about something or other, I don't even know. The email address is always open 24/7, 7 days a week. I'm here. Yeah.
Yep.
talesfromgodricshollow@gmail.com.
That's right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for supporting. Thank you to our headmistresses, Melby and Marissa. Thank you to our friend Brent for showering us with lavish gifts this week. And thank you to Australia for taking care of little brother New Zealand down there. For everybody else, we'll catch you all next week. Until then, Muggle out.
Mischief managed.